Okay, hey guys. Sorry about the game music. Just thought it'd be fun. I'm still gonna leave it on a little bit. Let's make it low enough for me too. I will play actual music from the games and not the stupid shit. Oh, goodbye to that. The stream is now started. Go all the way down there. Oh. Okay. Anyway, how's it going, guys? I'm still like trying to figure out how I want to run OBS. This is this thing that I'm gonna do like every other week or something, I suppose, of talking about things other than politics and social science, which is just talking about video games and things. And oh, let me turn off my AC because that's gonna make noise. Whoops. Anyway, so this week's topic is gonna be Metal Gear, which is kind of like a funeral, I suppose, because Metal Gear is completely and utterly fucked and over and dead forever. But that also means it's fun to talk about. These are things that I have already prepared for some of these panels that I used to do at conventions and probably still will do in the future, so I have things prepared for them. Maybe at the end or maybe on Twitter I'll put up a poll for what you guys want me to do next, but a lot of people have wanted me to do the Metal Gear one. I went over part of this panel, maybe, I'm gonna say over a year ago now, mostly with patrons, and it was back when I had like maybe less than 5k subs. So this time let's actually go through the entire panel instead of me just dicking around with people. I sound like shit. It might be my voice. I blew up my voice the other day. No, Road. NTSD. I don't know. It sounds like shit. Huh. Oh, no, I don't have my arm. The armature for my mic. I accidentally left it at my friend's house. Is the audio okay? Maybe I can move it closer to me. Actually, that might help. How will I do that? How will I do this? I have a really tiny desk. Shite. Okay, wait, I think I have an idea. Then I have to, like, I have my cup of tea that I prepared. Because my voice is a little bit fucked up. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, so today's topic will be Metal Gear. In general, the Dead series. Let's try... Oofed. Sorry about that. Oof. Alright. Moved it a little closer to me, and I can move a little closer to it, if that's better. Okay. Alright, so what are we gonna do? Talk about Metal Gear. Oh, by the way, first and foremost, because I am the big gay, I have this nice picture of Kojima, but I also do have, actually... Fucking A. So when we did the Witcher one, I didn't have my Paula costume when we did Mother 3, but I do have a little bit, just at least the jacket for Sniper Wolf. So, fucking A, guys. Really, actually this might be too hot. So that was that, and it's gonna be too hot for me to wear this, so that's not happening. Anyway, let's get on with it instead of me dicking around, as long as the audio is clear and everything is good. Oh, we're gonna talk about the boss, Viscount Bane. I just happened to look at the chat for a second, guys, and by the way, let me address the chat real quick. Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, we're gonna talk about the boss because she's my favorite video game character ever. The end. Yeah. Hey everybody. Hey, Irate Prostate. Merc. Hey, how's it going? Oof, where's my little thingy? Oh, there we go. There it is. I missed it. Oh, already. Sponge for €5 says, Kuwabara, Aiden. Do you ever play Metal Gear Solid VR missions on the PS1? It's pretty good. It is pretty good, and yes, I have. I've played most, Metal Gear games. We will go over in the panel the ones I have not played, because, I'll tell you, because I haven't played them. I do know about them, but I haven't played them. And of course, I'll be looking for the chat if you guys have anything to add about those. Normally, I have this really weird stickler thing with panels of when I go through them. I don't like to take questions to the end, but this is a very different format than in person. So, have I played MGS Survive? No. And one thing you will notice about this panel is that it is outdated. It's because the last time I touched this panel was right after Phantom Pain came out and right before Survive was announced. And now I don't want to even change the panel. I want to leave it as kind of like a memoriam a memorial, I should say, to Metal Gear in the state that it was when it ended. And then before we start real quick, Belial1125 for $2, thank you, says, Afin, best waifu for laifu, thank you. And hey, Edge, what's going on? Regards from Fort Cardinal. Hey, Edge. We hung out recently. Last week, I guess. Popog for 5. Guys, thank you so much. But Popog for 5 says, I'm calling it now. This presentation could benefit from more graphs. There aren't really many graphs in it. A lot of images, but no graphs. And then C. Thomas says, for 2, says 2 shekels for Famlet Paladin. All hail Blue Whale. All hail that whale. And all of his holes. Krill be upon them. Anyway, oofed. Zis roast. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm gonna say Christopher Baker for 10 says, love your social psychological takes on politics and culture. You sound like a person whose view is based on a love for others and a goal of betterment for all. Much love and respect for you. Thank you so much. That's actually very pleasant and generally is where I come from. But I don't have a lot of negative opinions toward. I do have negative opinions towards some people, communists mostly, but well, we can get into that as we're talking about Metal Gear. Anyway, speaking of which, there we go. All right, and let's get rid of that. And as such, I'm going to turn off the trap music since apparently you guys were really fond of it, I saw. Look, I tried to find like remixes. 1, because it prevents it from getting copyright struck, and 2, I kind of like it. Anyway, all right, so let's get into it. I'm going to have to do this thing. More than I do. Oof. Okay. And it should play it. Alright. This is the panel. Oof. Tell me if the volume is too loud or too soft. I have to mess with it myself. I actually drew that image because I was listening to, if you guys are familiar with Two Best Friends Play, the Zaibatsu, they, in one episode of the podcast, I don't remember, they were talking about how it would be funny if you could stack all of the characters on top of each other. I just thought it was funny, so I drew that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So the general panel outline, or the video, the streaming outline, I guess, that we're going to go over today is, I'm guessing most people in the chat are familiar with Metal Gear. I will tell you if I'm going to go over really, really extreme spoilers. The only thing that is actually has a spoiler warning, though, is things from the Phantom Pain, as I look at my Phantom Pain poster next to me and all of my other Metal Gear posters. I will tell you about spoilers for the Phantom Pain. Outside of that, it's going to be full-on spoilers because all those games are like 10 years old or older now. So, yeah. Other than that, pretty much, and I haven't played Survive, nor will I touch that horrendous piece of shit, fuck Konami. So, no, we're not touching that. So it's an introduction, characters, games, MGSV discussion. That's a big part of it because MGSV is still sort of the hot topic. What did he mean by this? What did Konami mean by this? Then a character analysis, which is sort of my favorite part, and then I usually put some stupid shit at the end that we can watch together and Q&A stuff. So... What is Metal Gear? What is Metal Gear is 2 different things. Metal Gear as a franchise is a tactical espionage action series created by the great Hideo Kojima, pictured on the right-hand corner of the screen, saying, lol, what a gay. You know what? I found this in a really, really old issue of Game Informer, and I think it was, not the what a gay thing, but it was, I think it was the April Fool's month. I think it was Game Informer too, now I don't even remember, that just said, it was Hideo Kojima, and the quote attributed to him was, video games are not art and will never be art, which I'm pretty sure is actually a quote attributed to, what's his dick? One of those reviewers who said that, shoot. I'm in a certain mindset, I can't work out of that. I just thought it was funny, so it's on my fridge. I have it up as I have magnets holding it up in my fridge, a picture of Hideo Kojima and just, video games are not art and will never be art. And for those of you unfamiliar with the series, that's kind of ironic, because if video games are art, Hideo Kojima sure as fuck tries to make them be art, I suppose. Anyway, what is a Metal Gear as an object within the game is a bipedal tank and weapon of mass destruction, the missing link between infantry and artillery. So it's basically a giant walking, nuclear missile launching pad, and also a, giant robot. Just fucking cool. Series is known for its complex, often confusing storylines. That's an understatement. It's sort of got a blend of mecha, anime, James Bond style stories. Stories. I told you my voice is fucked. It is pretty much the progenitor of stealth gameplay. So if you like any other stealth games, and I do, I will turn this off for a second again. Hang on. Whoa, there it goes. I couldn't find my Foxhound shirt, but I had this Deus Ex one, so it's like that's close enough. No, there's not entirely stealth, but often predominantly stealth in nature game. So yeah, if you like stealth games in any way, you know, Deus Ex, Assassin's Creed, I suppose you could call a stealth game. You have Metal Gear to thank for that, pretty much. There are so many Easter eggs, and in fact, it's always what makes me run over on this panel when I present it, is that there's so many that it gets really, there's just so many, it's impossible to even find where to start. Kale for 5 says, 5 shekels for my second favorite YouTube person, second only to Sargon. Oh, thank you. I do appreciate being second to the soy father. Thank you though for the 5. Bailey Brownie for $4.99 says, finally decided to finish Phantom Pain, and you start streaming talking about Metal Gear. What the coincidence? Yeah, I have like a list of things. I just thought Metal Gear would be fun, and it's something I can talk about for forever. Michael McLaughlin says, I would love to see an hours-long, whoopsie, conversation between Aiden and Jordan Peterson about life, the universe, and everything. I like Dr. Peterson. I would absolutely love to talk to him, but I'm not going to pay him $500 to do it. Fuck you too, Nuka, you filthy Scotsman. BK Lee 83 for 10 says, I love your social commentary. I'm thankful for your work and explanations in it. But now you must, let's talk about God of War or Armored Core. God of War is not something that I'm super into, or Armored Core really for that matter. But I can talk about the games that I know enough about to be really autistic over. So yeah, the recurring themes, genes, memes, scenes, yeah, whatever. It's memes. There's a lot of memes, literally and figuratively. Or literally in terms of the original definition of what a meme is, of something that's passed through society through repetition. So this is the chronology in terms of where the games take place. I always put this up because sometimes people don't know where to start with Metal Gear if they're new to it. So if you're new to it, I would say the first game to start with is really whatever you like. Phantom Pain is the newest and probably the most accessible. It's got that very fun open world sort of thing going on. Whether or not you like the gameplay, we can debate that. But I think if you're brand new to the series, you might have fun with that. Now, if you move back from it, you're going to be in for a great big fucking shock, because none of the other games play anything like Phantom Pain. The series chronology, though, starts in 1964 with Snake Eater, and then 1974 with Peace Walker, 1975, Metal Gear Solid, Ground Zeroes. Why did I read it like that? Ground Zeroes, which is the really tiny mini game that was released kind of as a teaser for Phantom Pain, although it does take place 9 years before it. Then Phantom Pain in 1984, the original Metal Gear, and we'll get in more to the chronology. 1995, MGS or Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, 1999. Then the one that most people started playing, which is the PS1 game Metal Gear Solid. And we'll talk about why it's called Metal Gear Solid. Came out in did not come out, came out in 1999. It takes place in 2005. Then we've got MGS2, Sons of Liberty, 2007, and then there's a time skip that happens within the first 30 minutes of gameplay, and then the rest in 2009. Finally, MGS4, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, where it should have ended, really should have ended, because it was a beautiful send-off. It was just fan wank for just hours. And then you have Rising Revengeance, which is pseudo-canon, an incredibly fun game, but it's I don't know if Kojima has actually officially said that Rising Revengeance takes place in the exact same timeline and therefore be canon. Not like anything Kojima says matters anymore, because fucking Konami stole the series from him. Some of the frequent and reoccurring characters that I will be talking about this. Naka is losing his haggis. Do you really want to be on Naka that bad? Are you drunk? But I'm going over a panel that I wrote. What are you gonna add? I made this thing. Actually, me and a couple other friends made this. A fucking pierogi for 5 says, love your vids. Do you fuck with the Fallout series? Well, really quickly. I'm not gonna do it, actually, never mind, because I'll have to reset everything up, but yes, Fallout is one of the series that I have a panel on, a presentation over, as well as the Elder Scrolls. Popog for 5, and thank you, fucking pierogi. We can do Fallout anytime. I am not a fan of Fallout 4. Popog for 5 says, did you see Ghost Recon Wildlands send-off for Metal Gear? I did not, but I'll have to check that out. We can look at it maybe at the end if we have time. Walio1125 for 2, thank you, says Snake Eater was the best one. I'm not sure. I think Snake Eater, it's so hard to deny, it's so amazing. And then Kale for 2 says 2 more for pronouncing my name right. Thank you. Naka, what are you going to talk about in my panel? Anyway, some of the characters that you will hear get thrown around a bunch are going to be, of course, Solid Snake, who's the protagonist of most of the games. Metal Gear 1, Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, and Metal Gear Solid 4. He's not the protagonist, though, of 2 and 3, but for most of them it is Solid Snake. Then we have Otacon, Hal Emmerich. He is a hacker, an otaku, and he is Snake's best friend forever. And if you have ever heard of the second largest, or maybe third at this point, largest convention, anime convention in the country, it's called Otakon, and it's in Baltimore City, or used to be, now it's in DC. But basically what happened is, early internet days, Kojima looked up what anime conventions were like in the United States, and the first thing that popped up was Otakon. And so that's why he named the character this, is he named him after an anime convention, which is such a weird roundabout thing. Jared Chapman for 2 says, hashtag fuck Konami. Absolutely fuck Konami, thank you. Christopher Baker for 5 says, Phantom Pain is more like Peace Walker than other games in the series. You got my name right, it is Christopher Baker. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Peace Walker, if you, maybe you can move back to Peace Walker, but Peace Walker's really fun, and I didn't play it until way after it came out. So, yeah, definitely recommend Peace Walker. Oh, so then there's Liquid Snake, who is brother of Solid and a recurring antagonist. There's Big Boss, who's the protagonist of Metal Gear Solid 3, Ground Zeroes, and I don't know, you can kind of say maybe he's the protagonist of Phantom Pain, although we know that's not really true. Alec on Disco for 50, thank you so much, said, kept you waiting, huh? Did you try the energy drink that was product placement in MGS4? No, I never got a chance to get it. Off topic says, I'm thinking about food. Have you had Steubenville-style pizza since you're from West Virginia? Really wish that Fox Engine Snake Eater was a game. Yeah. You're talking about the Fox Engine thing that they put out to make a fucking pachinko machine out of? Yeah, I wish that was real too, and not just a pachinko machine. If you mean pizza from Steubenville, are you talking about, it's actually Sicilian-style pizza that comes in a square? Yeah, I have. If that's what you're talking about. Leo the Bum Tickler for 5 says, Blade Wolf. Thank you. Hell yeah. What else we got? The Boss. I want to get through this because this is kind of boring stuff, but I will talk very at length about my absolute love of The Boss. Then there's Major Zero, who is, yeah, can you call him an antagonist? I don't know. That's up for debate. Like I said, some of this series is very odd and very debatable. Then there's Revolver Ocelot. Ocelot is one of the best characters because no one can tell what the fuck he's doing. He's always looking out for number one, and as such, his motivations, you can never tell if Ocelot's bullshitting you. Then there's Grey Fox, the mysterious cyborg ninja. He's appeared in multiple games, and I have to admit, I know it's gay, but as a woman, yes, I do love Raiden. I love Metal Gear Solid 2. I know most people used to really hate it. I think that hate has subsided a lot in the last couple years, but I love Raiden. I loved him in Metal Gear Solid 2, even though he's kind of a bitch and a brat, but he gets better over the course of the game, and I love him in MGS4, and in, of course, Rising Revengeance. So, whoop. Come on now. Okay. In order to make it a little bit easier to understand, I have a night. Oh, look, look, I don't remember who asked me about the graphs. Look, here's a graph. I have a chart. I have a chart of characters. So this is how characters are related to each other. The based on the DNA from Big Boss, and then it's a little bit, okay. So Eva is the one who carried Solidus, but then Paramedic is the one who carried Solid and Liquid. So that's what that means. There's a bunch of clones that happen in this shit, guys. There's clones, there's nanomachines, there's lots of nanomachines. Nanomachines are important. And then Revolver Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot is the child of the Boss and the Sorrow. And the Boss is such a boss that she was literally fighting Nazis in World War II while 9 months pregnant and cut Ocelot out of her fucking uterus while on the battlefield and gave birth to him that way. And then a weird thing happened involving Liquid's hand and Ocelot, and then they became Liquid Ocelot. It was weird because everything about this fucking game series is weird. I hope any of this makes sense. Again, I usually give this panel to mostly fans, so... A Dark Aspect for 5 pounds says, "Hail, Sniper Paladin, are you going to talk about how much of a socialist Big Boss is?" Well, yeah, we could have that discussion. Oh yeah, actually, we can get into that. And I reckon the Boss is def a collectivist fan since 1990, or 99, yeah. 1990, yeah, you could have been. First game came out in 89? 87? Lord of Toolshed for Polish money, thank you. Have some Polish currency of mine. I forget what the fuck it's called. I'm so out of touch with everything. Just got a notification while fucking around in Phantom Pain, by the way. Hey, you're not the only one. Perfect timing then. So I said 87. I think it was 89. Did this game ever come out in English now, or am I getting stupid? So the original Metal Gear game was, these games are very hard to find because they were released for the MSX2. Basically, a system that didn't really exist or sell well in the United States, so we didn't get this shit until way later. But it was released in 1987, and it was the first really game ever that had this novel concept of every other game that existed at the time, Zelda, Mario, anything else, has you go toward enemies, jump on them, hit them, something. This was the first game that had ever come out where it said, no, the enemies are gonna fuck you up. Now, you can take them on, but it was better and easier to avoid them. That was the preferred method. So the basic story is Foxhound is a special forces agency run by the legendary soldier Big Boss. Snake, a rookie, is given Operation Intrude N313 to infiltrate Outer Heaven and destroy the weapon of mass destruction, Metal Gear. Metal Gear. After rescuing Gray Fox, Snake learns that the leader of Outer Heaven is in fact Big Boss! Oh no, it was Big Boss all along, and kills him, but Big Boss claims that he will return. That's pretty much it, in terms of the basic summary of Metal Gear. Just, you know, hard to come across. So then, Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake was released in Japan for the MSX2 again in 1990. Kojima says he wrote the plot in one night. What a genius. What a mad lad, I suppose. But then again, we're talking about a very simplistic sort of level game from the early 90s, well, late 80s, early 90s. It's set in 1999. Dr. Marv has developed a new energy source, Oilix, and is kidnapped by agents from Zanzibar Land. This is something we can talk about later. What Zanzibar Land versus Outer Heaven, which the fuck is which? And we could even talk about, was Big Boss, what is he doing in Phantom Pain? Is he in Zanzibar Land? How does Big Boss die twice? As I will explain here, Big Boss dies in Metal Gear 1, but then he dies in Metal Gear 2 as well. So Snake is brought out of retirement by Roy Campbell and Master Miller. He learns that a new Metal Gear D, is being built at Zanzibar Land and that Big Boss has survived. Oh, let me move that up. That should be on the surface, but it's not. Whoopsie. I'll read that in 1 second. Where were we? Okay, so Snake fights his former comrade Gray Fox, and it's never really clear why Gray Fox turns on you, because he used to be your friend in the Metal Gear D, and then eventually kills Big Boss, this time with a flamethrower, so you're pretty sure he's fucking dead. I know what Nuka wants, Merc. He wants to be on the stream, but this is my panel, damn it! Something of note here, and I hope that this goes away in a second. Go away. There's this other game called Snake's Revenge. Metal Gear 2 wasn't released outside of Japan until its inclusion in Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. But there is a game called Snake's Revenge. It is a spin-off NES game, just called Snake's Revenge, and it was released around the same time in the United States. Kojima had nothing to do with it, and so it's not considered part of the canon. In fact, the way that, according to Kojima, that he found out about Snake's Revenge at all was that he was in an elevator with some random person, and they were like, "Oh, Hideo Kojima, I worked on Snake's Revenge," and he went, "What? What is this?" And had no clue that the game even existed. Real quick. Popog for 5 says $5 for the graph. Thank you. There was a graph. See? Kind of. Caleb Black for 5 says, when will you talk about Super Mario Land 2 and the clear symbolism behind, I can't do the reverb, Wario, bunch of Japanese nationalists at Nintendo. There are a lot of Japanese nationalists. Gravedigger for 5 says, is Dr. Peterson's 500 fee in Kanakistan kopecks or freedom bucks? I have no idea. I think it's in freedom bucks, but I don't know. And I don't know, I think it's like 250 for like 10 minutes or something, but I think for 30 it's like 500, yeah. Cardboard Box for 5, hey, good name, said Big Boss did nothing wrong, and TBH neither did Ocelot. I don't know if Big Boss did, yeah, Big Boss did wrong, but that's because I side with the boss on everything. Nuka wants you to check your DMs or something. Again, Nuka wants to be on the panel. and every time he wants to do that, it's because he's drunk. Near Edge, opinion on simple plot of Metal Gear by Starbomb. I haven't seen it. I have no idea how you can do a simple plot of Metal Gear. That's fucking impossible, but I'll have to check it out then. So, most people's introduction to the series is probably Metal Gear Solid because it came out in the PS1, 1998. People, I mean, the other ones are just a little bit more obscure. This one was a major hit, though. It retained the top-down nature of Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, which are totally top-down touchers, you know? Given the nature of the technology at the time, that made sense. But it did have 3D models and voice acting, and that's actually why it's called Metal Gear Solid, because not only Solid Snake, it's a double meaning. The other meaning that there were 3D models that are solid looking, right? So the plot is Foxhound goes rogue, captures the Shadow Moses nuclear facility, and Metal Gear wrecks. They demand, in return for it, or just to not shoot nukes at everybody, the body of Big Boss, which we'll get into why they want it. And they're being led by this guy, Liquid Snake. And Liquid Snake is brother, as we find out. So Snake gets to fight Revolver Ocelot, his arm is cut off by Gray Fox, Snake ends up befriending the Metal Gear's designer, Hal Emmerich, aka Otacon. And there's another question I have about Otacon and his association with Huey. I mean, Huey's his dad, but in terms of, look at Sahelanthropus, the Metal Gear in Phantom Pain, which takes place chronologically, is it 25 or 30 years before this? So we're talking about no advance in technology of how Metal Gears basically look or behave in 30 years of development. Now, was that because Eli stole Sahelanthropus, and therefore, and Huey fucking killed him? He was the man who was cucked to death. Literally, cucked to death. But I guess maybe the information just died with Huey. There's no other really way to say it. I would, because otherwise Hal is really it seems to be recreating his father's Metal Gear. So Snake and Liquid are revealed to be clones of Big Boss. Big Boss, again, the guy you fight in Metal Gear 1 and 2. And they are products of the Les Enfants Terribles project, or the Terrible Children. The idea that the boss was the greatest soldier who ever lived. Well, the boss was the greatest soldier who ever lived, in my opinion, but Big Boss was yeah, he's pretty top tier. So he needed to be cloned and recreated. Snake at the end is infected with Foxdie, a government retrovirus designed to eliminate all members of Foxhound. Then Snake defeats Liquid and Rex, but he remains infected with the Foxdie, which ends up being a ongoing plot point. So, something not a lot of people talk about, even when going over Metal Gear, is this thing called Twin Snakes. Because a lot of people really hate Twin Snakes. For good reasons and not so good reasons, I suppose. It's basically a remake of MGS1 for the GameCube that was released in 2004 by Ryuhei Kitamura, who Kojima personally chose to make the remake. He wanted this guy to do it, so anyone who's mad can actually blame Kojima secondhand still. Let me see, real quick. Yeah, okay. We just had one. Patchouli for 5 says, how the fuck does Big Boss keep getting money for these things? And why the fuck does Oilix never matter again in the series if it's this super fuel? Don't ask too many questions. I kind of think in a lot of ways, Kojima wants to abandon Metal Gear, some of the Metal Gear lore, like the Oilix stuff, but yet constantly relies on it. So, I don't know the answer to that. Anyway, it's a remake. It had a lot of graphical improvements. If you see clips of Metal Gear Solid versus Twin Snakes, it obviously looks much better. The cutscenes were all new, but some of those cutscenes are really, really funny. We're gonna talk about Acid. They recorded vocals, and yeah, they had to re-record the vocals, and according to David Hayter and a couple other people, they recorded them like in a closet essentially, which is why some of the vocals sound really weird in this game. And it did use a first-person camera. The problem with the first-person camera is that the game, everything about it was still made to be played from the top-down perspective. So the first-person camera really fucks up fights with Vulcan Raven and Ocelot. It totally changes the gameplay. Although it received pretty good reviews when it came out, it's often brought up by fans as just terrible, a terrible recreation. And the other thing that you can do as a good fan is say that it is a recreation, and in fact this entire game is just a VR simulation that was created to train Raiden to be Solid Snake, essentially. I love that theory. I think that's a great one. That the game isn't real. It was created for Raiden, essentially. So, I talked about this in another video or stream where I talked about doing these kinds of things. If you see this giant mess of text, I know how to do panels fairly well and how many words should be on a page when you do these kind of things. I went through like a week and a half of revisions with 2 different people who know as much about Metal Gear and love Metal Gear as much as I do. And this is the fewest number of words we could condense the plot of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty into. So far, it hasn't sounded maybe too insane just from the outset, but holy shit is it fucking insane. MGS2. Because this is when we get into memes. And I would say the TLDR of everything is VR missions, memes. It was released for 2001 for the PS2, fully 3D, added new gameplay elements. There's a trank gun, first person, you can hold up enemies, which is really fun. And it's really fun to hold them up for a very long time, too. There's all kinds of really just fun, quirky stuff that you can do in any one of these games. And there's always shit jokes in all of them, too, because Kojima has a very Japanese 12-year-old boy's sense of humor. I love it. It takes place in 2007. Solid Snake is infiltrating a carrier with Metal Gear Ray outside of Manhattan. Ocelot with Liquid Snake's right arm, because Liquid Snake had his arm cut off and Ocelot was just like, okay. Or the way around, sorry. Steals Ray and sinks the tanker, causing a giant ecological disaster that the US now has to clean up. Snake is blamed for it and is presumed dead. Then the game just jumps a whole big 2 years to 2009, where the terrorist group, the Sons of Liberty, are supposedly being controlled by Solid Snake, even though we just thought he was dead. Thanks, fucking outside, these stupid goddamn motorcycles. Anyway, the Sons of Liberty takes the president hostage in the big shell waste facility that was constructed in order to deal with the giant oil spill created and all of the chemical spills created by the tanker. And Raiden, who is a Foxhound operative that was trained using VR, is sent by the Colonel, who is a recurring character, to the Big Shell to save the president. Yeah, that's the very basic plot. But it quickly becomes evident that Raiden is essentially... These VR missions were designed to make the perfect soldier. They couldn't recreate the big boss with clones. All the clones were failures. And of course, the leader of Sons of Liberty is not Solid Snake, but Solidus Snake, another clone of Big Boss. In particular, one that seemed to have a different aging effect because he's way, way older than Liquid and Solid. It's good. A sip of tea. Sorry, my voice is so fucked. So, Big Shell houses Metal Gear Arsenal, built by a mysterious group called the Patriots. There's where we really get into the memes. The Patriots are the deep state, or if you prefer, the Jews, I guess? Depends on who you ask. It's the globalists, if you ask Alex Jones. Anyway, the leader of the Sons of Liberty is Solidus Snake, a third Leon von Starib clone, who trained Raiden, but kind of in a not so obvious method of what he was training him to be was to be Solid Snake. And Snake and Raiden end up teaming up with Snake, who is calling himself Snake Plissken, which is a reference to Escape from New York, a movie that massively inspired Kojima in the Metal Gear process, with the help of Otacon's stepsister Emma, who totally wants to fuck him, and that's weird. Otacon and Liquid state that Otacon/Liquid state that the Big Shell is a Patriot training program, but the Patriot AI tells Raiden that Big Shell was really a test of persistent memes. Basically, this whole thing, this whole event that happened here, the Big Shell event, all of the Sons of Liberty, all of it, was in some way designed to train Raiden, right? But how exactly it was designed to train is unclear, because Ocelot and Liquid say like it was just a simulation, whereas the Patriot AI says that it was actually, they wanted to more or less recreate, oh, come on. Well, I just said it 5 minutes ago. Wow, I'm so retarded. What's the name of the fucking island? Shadow Moses. Fuck me, man. That's not good. Anyway, yeah, it's a sort of physical recreation of Shadow Moses so that Raiden could become as good of a soldier as Snake is. A lot of people hated this game when it came out. I remember when this game came out and it was despised by pretty much everybody. God, I was fucking like 11. Shit. But, all because it was one of Kojima's earliest major ruse cruises. He's taken this on ruse cruises before. But this one was the worst, because in all of the promotional material for the game, and everything that we saw for it, yeah, I kept wanting to say Zanzibar Land, which we think might be an island too, maybe? Or it might just be in Africa. Anyway, so all of the promotional material just showed Snake, Solid Snake as being the protagonist. And then you get the game, you pop it into your PS2, you play it for about 30 minutes, and Solid Snake dies. And then you're introduced to this young fucking punk, Raiden, who is not the guy we wanted, more or less. I liked Raiden, and I think that particularly over the course of that game alone, you see how incredibly fucked up his life has been. He's, you know, an orphan of war. Everything about his girlfriend is fake, and potentially they were also trying to, you know, get his DNA as well, I would say, through that. Just bad shit. Child soldier. No one has a good life. Snake had a hard life, but so did Raiden, okay? Alec Undusco for 10, thank you, says the bait and switch was pretty hardcore. Yeah, it was... a lot of people really hated it. And Ant-Man for 5 says, I can sum it up better. The president has been kidnapped by an AI. Are you man enough to save him? Kind of, but there's so much else going on there. I think Snake Eater is probably most people's favorite were I to take a poll. It'd be so hard to do it in the chat, but I guess, guys, if you're fans of Metal Gear, put in, if it's Metal Gear, put in MG1, I guess, but type in the chat what your favorite is. I'm thinking I'm just gonna glance at it. I'm gonna guess MGS3 takes the cake, because MGS3 not only has such a great soundtrack, it has such a great James Bond vibe. It has just such a really, everything about its aesthetic, its gameplay. It was so incredibly revolutionary in every way, more or less. It was released in 2004 for the PlayStation 2. It introduced the camouflage system and CQC. Try to remember the basics of CQC, close quarters combat. Takes place in 1964, so it is a prequel. Naked Snake. Oh, who is this Naked Snake guy? Naked Snake guy, we've been in the Solid guy for a while, is a Fox unit operative sent to retrieve a defecting Russian scientist who built the Shagohod, a tank capable of firing nukes. Oh, wait a minute, while you guys put that in. Snake's mentor, the boss, well, we've heard of a tank capable of firing nukes. Where have we heard of this before? In other words, it's a proto-Metal Gear. Snake's mentor, the boss, defects to the Soviet Union with her Cobra unit, the people that she fought with in World War II, under GRU Commander Volgan, who possesses the Philosopher's Legacy, which is kind of confusing what that is at first, but it's just $100 billion. Volgan fires a nuke in Russia, and Fox is blamed for this. And then Snake is sent to kill, because it almost starts a worldwide incident, right? So Snake is sent to kill the boss, his mentor, for treason. Over the course of a very long and very fun game, Snake is captured and tortured by Volgan, loses his right eye. well, we've seen the iconic eye patch imagery, perhaps, but escapes with Eva, named very close to Eve, and considering she's the mother of at least, well, the one who carried Solid and Liquid. It's a very appropriate name. Killing Volgan and destroying the Shagohod. Let me look at the chat real quick, though, to see what people's general sort of take was on their favorites. I should have asked at the start. Oh, it's all over the place. That's actually interesting. Really, I'm super surprised at the number of MGS2. It actually, I don't know, guys. I think that it's really all over the place in terms of people's favorites. It's a lot of MGS3. I think that MGS3 had a lot of love in the past, but people came to realize that how good, for example, MGS2 was, particularly in its writing and just he kind of predicted the future. Part of that game got in trouble because the ending of it was changed. MGS2, this is, because it came out so close to 9/11, they had to rush to sort of change the ending because it ends with a giant nuclear sort of fight over New York, or it's DC, excuse me. So there was just a lot of controversy at the time, right after 9/11, of what the fuck does this mean? Basically, Kojima predicted the future. He predicted that AIs would eventually control everything, that there's this deep state, deep web, or this deep state cabal of people, or maybe AI that fucking run the show, right? So people think that, yeah, people will say Kojima, oh, he knew the truth all along. Tyler Preston for 2 says Captain America ripped off Metal Gear Solid. Which one? Winter Soldier? Because the Winter Soldier storyline came out in... It's more recent, but it's not... I don't think it actually was intentional if it did. A Snake learns from Eva, back to MGS3, that the boss, in fact, did not defect, but was infiltrating Volgan's unit to capture the legacy for the US, forcing her to give her life so that the US would not be blamed for the nuclear attack. Basically, the boss is the greatest patriot who ever lived. And when we talk about the Patriots, that's why. Because it is all about no one ever being able, I swear to God, oh, Sean, sorry, I will read your Streamlabs right now. It is all about people not being able to fucking understand what the boss was talking about. Sean Haruki for 2 says, Otakon is my con of, Otakon is how it's actually pronounced. Otakon is my con of choice. Go to it almost every year. Revolver Ocelot looks out for number 1. Hand gesture. Yeah, I obviously, I love Otakon. I went to it for 17 years. 17? 16. Yep, went to it for 16 years. Anyway, the boss knows that someone's gonna have to take the blame for this nuclear attack. And so she willingly sacrifices herself for her country to avoid nuclear war between the US and Russia. And at the same time, it's also trying to steal the philosopher's legacy so that it gets out of Russian hands. What she wants is a nation without borders, is what she says, right? And again, everyone seems to be conflicted as to what that means, right? So, as in completion for, and as a reward for completing his mission and killing his mentor in one of the greatest boss fights of all time, Snake is given the title of Big Boss. So now we know where Big Boss comes from. Metal Gear Solid 4, which again should have been the end of the series, was released in 2008 for the PS3. It is overhead replaced with over-the-shoulder camera. Overhead or first-person, because there were first-person options in MGS3, but it was still predominantly this sort of overhead display. It takes place in 2014. A war economy controls the world. War. War has changed, right? Or war never changes, depending on what game we're talking about, I suppose. With mercenaries using Sons of the Patriots, right? Snake, as an effect of... He's experiencing this enhanced aging, which is a little bit confusing if it's just entirely because he's a clone, or if it's a combination with what's happening with him being infected with Foxdie. Gravedigger praised Altana for 5 and said, check your DMs in Discord. I never check Discord. It's a really hard way to get a hold of me. Naka, you're so mad. Did you leave? I'll let you on at the end. How about that? What was that? Shit. I'll check Discord DMs later because I get so many I don't know what to do. So, yeah, whether or not it's just the Fox Eye or if it's also him being a clone, and that which was which. So Liquid Ocelot plans to control all the mercenaries with Sons of the Patriots, this AI sort of shit, right? Nanomachine's son. But he needs Big Boss's genetics to access the AI. So like with this is another panel page where I spent a really long time trying to cut it down as tiny as I could make it, and it still looks like a hot mess. The plot of it doesn't matter too much. Honestly, none of these really matter too much because this game is more or less just a great big fan wank. Every character in the series that you have ever cared about comes back. Every reference, everything that you like, everything anyone ever liked, every reference, every weird joke is referenced or paid homage to. It's just fan wank. It's also barely a video game. It's pretty much a 6-hour-long movie. You play the game for about 10 minutes in little 10-minute sections, and then and the gameplay is very fun, but there's not a lot of it. Anyway, Liquid plans to use Metal Gear Rex to destroy the AI core and replace it with his own. Snake fights Liquid at Shadow Moses in Rex versus Ray. Again, fucking fan wank. See two Metal Gears we've seen for forever pitted against each other. Liquid then escapes to Outer Heaven. In Arsenal Gear, Outer Haven, not Outer Heaven. Two different things, which is an Arsenal Gear, which is basically a big bunch of other Metal Gears to destroy the court. Snake boards Outer Haven, uploads the virus Fox Alive, made by Sunny and Naomi. Sunny, this is another character I didn't even mention. Oh, I didn't really mention Naomi either. Oh, but it's similar to the one that EE used, that's being Otacon's stepsister. God, this is such a confusing panel. Snake defeats Liquid Ocelot in close quarters combat, and Ocelot thinks he's pretty good. That fight! The fight at the end between Snake and Liquid Ocelot, where you go through all the different sort of variations of Snake and Ocelot over time. Holy shit. It's one of just the most awesome things ever, particularly if you're a fan of the series. At the very end, Snake attempts to kill himself at Big Boss's grave, but is stopped by none other than Big Boss himself. You killed him twice! So Big Boss was secretly kept alive by the Patriots. He kills Zero, who has been behind all this Patriots AI shit the entire time, and dies on the boss's grave. Meryl and Johnny are married. That was nice. Raiden comes back with Rose and his son. Everybody is happy, and Snake gets to spend his last couple days living whatever of a life he has left with his sort of weird my two gay dads thing with him and Sunny. So yeah, there's a bit of a gay dad thing going on, but the takeaway is Snake had a hard life. Peace Walker, released in 2010 for the PSP. I didn't play this until probably 2015. It took me a while, a couple years to get around to it because I never had a PSP. So I may have used a computer to, you know, emulate it or something. I'm not saying I did, just maybe I did. In 1974, Big Boss, along with Kazuhiro Miller, that's Master Miller, founds Militaires Sans Frontières. Why is there a weird, break there? Whatever. Attempting to follow the boss's vision. Now again, what did the fucking boss say? A world without borders, so it's Militaires Sans Frontières. Doctors without borders, mercenaries without borders. Okay, I'm not sure that's really what the boss meant by a world without borders. Could we say that could we argue the boss is a globalistic communist? Maybe, but I don't think that's what she meant either. This is always the question of Metal Gear is what the fuck did the boss mean? What was her actual goal? What was her dream? Anyway, Paz Ortega, who is kawaii as shit, contacts MSF to repel the CIA from Costa Rica where she lives. The CIA develops the nuclear deterrent Peace Walker. Head Peace Walker scientist Huey Emmerich, father of Hal Emmerich, joins Militaires Sans Frontières. Dr. Strangelove, who is Hal's mother, develops the Peace Walker AI based on the boss. So it's an amalgamation of the boss's personality, although the boss was dead, so it's not necessarily accurate. And the way the whole game starts out is that Big Boss ends up thinking he's hearing the boss's voice over radio, and it's like, oh shit, is the boss alive? So MSF end up building their own Metal Gear Zeke. Paz then reveals herself, pause that little egg hole, as an agent of Cypher, of Zero, Cypher, the people who end up building the fucking AI that control the world, the other maybe globalists, yeah, steals Zeke, and of course Miller is kind of in love with her. Snake, but also maybe Big Boss is a little bit too. Snake ends up stopping Paz, who is believed to be dead, and vows to create Outer Heaven. That thing that you, in, you know, Operation N313, Metal Gear 1. So, Ground Zeroes, which was the really, really short thing that came out. It is actually really fun because I still play Ground Zeroes sometimes, just because the boss was a globalist. Yeah. I'm not sure. Multiplat released in 2014 as a prologue to Phantom Pain. It's really fun because it has tons of just little missions that allow you to screw around. It features for the first time open world style gameplay on the Fox engine. When we get into the problems with Metal Gear Solid, this is supposed to be an hour panel. I'm at 50 minutes already. This is my problem. Fucking. Oh, we're talking about Metal Gear. I always want to talk about it too much. The Fox engine, so if you haven't noticed, there's a bit of a gap. So this game came out, oh excuse me, that's 2010, but that's like a portable game. So the last major Metal Gear Solid game came out in 2008. We had a portable game that's really cool, but nobody fucking played it for the most part. We'll get into some of the other ones. There was a pretty long gap between 2008 and 2014. And, you know, it's a decent amount of time, it's 8 years between these games. And this is not even the release of the actual finished product. Half of that time, if not, I have heard estimates of up to 6 years of that time. Oh, and if anybody is interested in knowing more about Kojima and Metal Gear Solid and really just paying attention to this shit, go check out the channel Yong Ya. He is a great big Kojima fanboy. I get, not to be rude to him, I really like his stuff. I'm not skipping ops or anything. I just am covering the big ones first. Anyway. It takes place in 1975. Paz and Chico, who's another kid that was in Peace Walker, are being held by Cypher, XOF. Mother Base, which is sort of like the proto, well, that's what they have in Peace Walker. Their base for Military Sans Frontiers is Mother Base. They're anticipating a UN nuclear inspection, so they're trying to be on their best behavior. During this period, Big Boss, you playing as Big Boss, infiltrate Camp Omega and extract Chico and Paz. But it turns out that Paz has been used as a Trojan horse. On the way back, you managed to get one of the bombs out of her, but I'm fairly sure that the other bomb was in her vagina. Do Streamlabs get read out too? Yes. Yeah, anything, if you donate on Streamlabs, if you want to give more directly to me and not give Google a cut, because fuck Google and fuck YouTube, to be honest. So yeah, you don't manage to get the vagina bomb. What was it called? The snook. You don't get the snook out of her snatch. It's not really a nuke, it's just a bomb. And so of course it detonates and everyone's in the helicopter when it does, and that's how this game ends, and exactly where Phantom Pain starts out. So people asking about the other games, they're really tiny because most people haven't played most of these, and some of them I have not played either, so it will be up to you to tell me where I'm stupid, or if I don't know things about it. So Rising Revengeance, I've mentioned a whole bunch because it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's 2013 multi-plat, made by Platinum Games, which if you are a fan of character action games, and by that I mean things like Devil May Cry, which I could also do a whole thing on, about the Devil May Cry series. It is so incredibly fun. The story does not matter. He's just trying to take down a paramilitary group, Desperado. It is considered fully canon, so I must have made a note here to myself to make sure to say that. So Kojima did confirm it's fully canon. Okay. Either he or Konami did, I don't know. But if I wrote that, I wrote it there for a reason. Let's see. One sec. Before we get too into this. Alec Ondusko for 10, thank you again. Do you think Big Boss saw the boss as a maternal figure or a love interest? Ooh. I have a whole... I'm trying... This is probably gonna go for 2 hours, but I'm gonna try to not spend more than 10 minutes talking exclusively about the boss, because... yeah. she was of course his mentor, but always seemed like there was more to it. Yeah, I don't know exactly though what was there either, and we can discuss that. Oofed. But only for 5, thank you, says roses are red, violets are blue. Don't forget there's a bomb in Paz's hoo-ha hoo-too. Yeah, whoops. Oh, Bill, you've played the Acid games? Because they're the only ones here I actually haven't played. I have never played the Acid games, and I've been told they're really, really fun. So that's my bad. But Portable Ops I have played. Portable Ops, it emulates terribly. I was trying to play it not even that long ago, and it emulates absolutely awful. The frame rate drops to shit. But it was released in 2006 for the PSP. It uses similar controls to the main series, follows Snake attempting to locate the missing part of the Philosopher's Legacy, and it explains how Snake meets the Colonel, Roy Campbell, and also gives back just additional background to Peace Walker. It's not considered canon, even though it really probably should be canon, I think, and I think that given its importance to the series, because it also has some shit maybe potentially about Gray Fox in there, things that would make some sense to the story to be considered canon. Mojo Mancer on Streamlabs says, a nation without borders is what the Native American tribes describe their people as. I always thought that was what the boss wanted. A people bound by blood, history, and tradition, not necessarily a state. Again, I like that. I like that one. But, I like, yeah, I like your view there, but it's always a question because nobody appears to get it right. So Acid 1 and 2, again, the 2 games I have not played. Again, I never had a PSP, so I'd have to emulate them. And these I could probably emulate pretty easily and not have to worry about frame rate drop as much. It's a turn-based card game system, and is not considered canon, but, let's see what, let me see. Kadoku and Chayoth Ha-Kadesh. The Metal Gear game? The Acid games are hilarious, says Bill. I'll have to check them out then. I've heard nothing but good things about them. Adon a shot for 20 somethings, sorry, says, why do you think that a considerable amount of females like the Metal Gear series? I would say a lot of women like Metal Gear for the same reason a lot of women like anything that has predominantly male characters. There's very few main female characters in Metal Gear. I've always noticed that too, that there's a lot of women who really like Metal Gear. I've also noticed there's a lot of women who really like the idea of Metal Gear, kind of more than, the games, but that's maybe just, I could be wrong on that. That could maybe be being judgmental. I have played Ghost Babel, which, or Babel, whichever, which is, according to a lot of people, the best Metal Gear game. It was released in 2000 for the Game Boy Color. It is an alternative story to Metal Gear Solid 1 with the same sort of design of the MSX Metal Gear titles, so it's the top-down toucher thing. And it is also the most highly acclaimed in terms of reviews, of critical reviews from games journalists. God, sometimes I wish I had a fucking reverb, man. Need to get a, how do you call it? Modulator thing, so I can do that. So, Phantom Pain. Yay. Yay, and also the end. Let me try to get through this really quickly. I feel bad this is taking me so long just to talk about the games themselves. So after the explosion that happens in the helicopter in Ground Zeroes, Snake has been in a coma for 9 years. One sec. Bill says the female co-star from Acid is in Portable Ops as a hidden character. Oh! Her name is Venus and she's kind of a nutcase. It's turned on by dowsing. Huh. Holy shit. Fuck yeah. I'll have to actually play it. If I get a chance to play a game again soon, I will. Again, there's no spoilers here until there will be a spoiler warning if you have not played Phantom Pain yet. It did come out, I think, in 2015, so you've had some time, but I'll put a warning on it. Did it come out in 2015? Yeah. Filled with a lust for revenge against Cypher, Snake, after 9 years in a coma, joins up with Ocelot and Kazuhiro Miller, who you rescue, who has lost his right arm and leg. Still feel it. Shit, I can't do Kaz's fucking dialogue. I should know that by heart. God damn. You feel it too, don't you? Snake conducts operations in Afghanistan and Zaire, learns of Skullface's, who's... Skullface is such a weak villain in my opinion. He could have been so much better, but he ends up just being this weird fucking mustache twirler that doesn't really have any obvious tie to Zero, And so it makes this game a really weird offshoot from all of the story and main titles of everything else. I like the game a lot, but it's odd. So yeah, Snake recruits the enemy sniper. Quiet and D-Dog, you also get a robot D-Walker and a horse. And then you end up facing off Skullface in his Metal Gear Sahelanthropus, which was built by Huey, Hal Emmerich's father. So here's my, there you go. I'm gonna just say there's spoilers if you haven't played it, oh well, or if you don't care. Actually, there's research on that. Actually, the research on that is that people with different levels of need for cognition and need for affect respond to spoilers differently. Some people who are particularly high in need for cognition actually enjoy spoilers. There you go, and there's your citation for the day. Whoopsies. I actually kind of don't want to go over any more of the plot of the games because I almost don't care. I think that we should just do it really quickly. There's some weird, because there is some weird shit in here. Snake's code name in this is Ahab, and he escapes the hospital with Ishmael. Now, the game tries to kind of pretend that Ishmael is Ocelot, because when you wake up, well, I don't know. It's... Who is Ishmael? Is Ishmael Big Boss? I would say yes, Ishmael is Big Boss. When they went and took... We'll go into the breakdowns of some of the more confusing shit. Anyway, Snake now decides to call himself Venom, builds an army, and most importantly, gets a pupper. Quiet's the assassin. She was the assassin who tried to kill him. Her entire body was burned and has been replaced with parasites. So up until now, we have done memes, genes, whatever, themes, and now all of a sudden we get parasites? Okay. It's kind of going off the rails of typical Metal Gear, but that's okay. That's fine. Kojima, I'm down. I am a little bit confused with, Kojima tweeted out that people who were bitching, feminists, who were bitching about Quiet walking around, you know, all of these battle zones wearing only a bikini top, and he said, what was it exactly? You will regret, like, you will feel ashamed of your actions, you will feel ashamed of yourselves when you understand the plot, and it just turns out that her skin conducts photosynthesis. I don't know, Kojimble. I think that sounds like you just wanted to have, Stephanie... Thanks for screaming, Stephanie. Another thing that he fucking tweeted while she was recording her lines. I think he just wanted to you know, get some nice footage there of Steph walking around in a bikini. But I think you should just be yourself, though, Kojima. Admit it. Anyway, Venom finds... Oh, his name's Venom, and the game is V. Get it? Ha! Huh. Finds Code Talker, who explains that Skullface is the one behind the XOF. Oh look, it's Fox spelled backwards. What another brilliant move. And is using parasites to infect language. In the video I recently made on language, I used a bunch of music from this game for a reason. So V also finds Eli, one of the L'Enfance Terrible project. It's Liquid clones, who's of a big boss and is leading a child soldier cadre in Africa. Skullface used Huey, Hal's father again, to build Metal Gear Sahelanthropus, and plans to create a language of nukes. Again, this is not really completely clear what Skullface is doing, but okay. Huey killed Strangelove and used his son to test the Sahelanthropus. It's true, Hal really was in one of his Japanese animes. He basically was Shinji from Evangelion. More or less, it's seriously fucking true that Hal Emmerich, that Otacon was essentially fucking Shinji. Fraser Danger for 2 says Gaiden Paladin. That's very true, thank you. Alec Onduska for 2 says MGSV is phonemes, I think most accurately. Not sure in what sense. You don't have to super chat it. Cypher TV says Quiet was going to be Chico, but game got cut. IMO. The Chico and Quiet are the same person. I don't know if I buy that. I bought into that at first too, but I'm not sure about it. The timeline doesn't add up. So there's more. Volgan's half-dead body. Volgan, the guy from MGS3, is being controlled by the third child, which appears to be Psycho Mantis, also from MGS3. Or not MGS3, I'm sorry, from MGS1 of, I see you like to play Super Mario Sunshine. You know, well, that's the Twin Snakes version. But, the guy who, it was one of Kojima's earliest ruse cruises, if you guys don't know, is that there's a part in the game where you have to, there's all kinds of weird things in MGS1 where like you have to actually look at the printout that came with the game. You have to at one point unplug your controller and plug it into the second player port when you're dealing with Psycho Mantis. Most people know these by now, but they're just kind of weird things. There's also there's so much fun stuff in MGS2, it's why I didn't want to get bogged down on it. Like, if you stay in the bathroom too long, in one of the bathroom stalls, there's a picture of a sexy lady, and if you stand in there for too long, both the Colonel and your girlfriend, whose name, Raiden's girlfriend, whose name is escaping me, will castigate you for fucking masturbating while playing the game. Oh shit, it's so good. Shalashaska for 315 for 5 says, I thought that tweet about Quiet was going to be related to Muslim female oppression or something interesting like that, not fucking photosynthesis. Yeah, we all did. Well, actually, a lot of us thought it was going to be that she was Chico, that she had a dick, and there was some kind, it was like some kind of weird thing about it, that, you know, she used to be a man or a boy, so she wanted to express her femininity. Popog for 5 says, isn't Kojima on record saying Quiet is naked to help sell more figurines? He probably did say that, but he does have an in-game, you know, canon rationale for her walking around with nothing on. Is it weak? Kind of. So, oh right, okay. So you get the Sahelanthropus thing, Metal Gear, you shoot, Huey shoots Skullface. I think you can choose to do it, though. I didn't do it, so I'm not sure. Code Tucker gives the cure to the Kakongo parasites to the Diamond Dogs, which is the new... Yeah, I didn't even say that. Diamond Dogs is the reinvented Military Sans Frontiers. And remove Kakongo. One language gets infected and ends up killing pretty much everybody on your base. It's this one African language, so there are a lot of memes about remove Kakongo. Do not pick up anybody from Kakongo who speaks Kakongo. Kick them out immediately. And anyway, the game ends in such a short... It's very abrupt, and there's reasons for that. Eli ends up stealing Sahelanthropus. Huey mutates the parasite and ends up... you have to go through in a very powerful part of the game. One of the most powerful parts. Venom has to go through and kill all of his infected soldiers. Which is, yeah, it's powerful. Of course, turn their ashes into diamonds, you know? But that was the earlier one. You could make their ashes into diamonds, too. But then you get the great Bon Voyage Huey, where they just put him on a life raft and set him off and say, get fucked. Later, he will be cut to death, so everything's okay. Anyway, the game ends. Quiet is infected with the English parasites, that's why she doesn't talk. She was supposed to infiltrate them and speak English, or anything, but, she refused to. Eventually she has to, just to call Pequod to save Venom. These are the spoilers, guys. And because of that has to leave immediately, and she just walks off. So we don't even get a necessary ending to Quiet. Did the parasites kill her, or was she immune? We don't know. We find out, of course, Venom is not actually Big Boss, but he is the medic from the helicopter who was trying to pull the nuke out of Paz, to pause that little neg hole. And, yeah, that the whole game was another ruse cruise, as we are used to from Kojima. But that he was basically, you know, mentally trained and tricked into probably the same way that... I imagine it's the same way that Ocelot tricked himself into believing he was Liquid, kind of. Do you know what I mean? I'm not exactly sure. But, what is this? Novelization, they explain she burns herself alive using Venom's lighter and gasoline. Oh, fuck! Is that canon, though? Jesus Christ. Oof. A space rep... Thanks, Bill. Fuck. Space Reptile for 5 says MGSV was a marketing masterpiece. MGS Ray glasses. Yeah. If I wasn't broke when it came out, I would have rolled those $500 Ocelot sunglasses. Yeah, me too. Anyway, so yeah, Venom finds out he's not really the big boss, and the game ends with what sounds like him being given Snake's Operation Intrude, N313 mission that it's going to be happening. So we have fairly good reason to believe at this point. What's my next thing? Okay. We have fairly good reason to believe at this point that the big boss who dies in Metal Gear Solid is Venom Snake. The big boss who dies at Zanzibar Land is the original big boss, right? So the game is called Phantom Pain. That's what you get when you buy it, yeah. And the reason is because the game is unfinished. You didn't know. Game is massively unfinished. There is good evidence, or at least decent evidence, to suggest that there is an entire chapter, an entire segment of the game missing. There's 2 chapters. Well, there's 2 major segments, and there's evidence, or at least some, that there's a whole 3rd segment that was cut. And we do know at least some missions were cut because they were included in the collector's edition. Well, one of them was. At least information about it, screen caps and such, video of it being in progress. So, Kaz comes to hate Big Boss because of his use of V. That's why he ends up training Solid to kill his father. That's why Kazuhiro Miller is, you know, on Solid Snake's side. Zero was most genuinely probably just looking out for Big Boss, and everything bad that happens was Skullface's fault. To this point, we still have no evidence that Zero was ever a bad guy. He was just someone else trying to interpret the boss's legacy, the boss's dream. And Big Boss is kind of a jerk who doesn't really care about his men, in my opinion, because he really just let Venom run his shit in Outer Heaven, or excuse me, with Diamond Dogs, without giving a fuck while he was doing his own shit in Zanzibar Land. Now, that's contentious. We could argue over whether or not you think Big Boss is a dick, but I don't like the fact that he lied to Venom the whole time. Now, I understand why. A real good reason why is so that he would not know that he was not actually, he himself, Big Boss. But don't you think that he could have been just as effective a leader if he did know? That's arguable. Questions that were never answered. In one of the original trailers, which has the song Nuclear playing, it really looks like there's, like, Venom Snake is going to go nuclear, is going to have a breakdown, and we never really see it happen. He remains fairly stoic the entire game. And then, if Venom is Big Boss's public face, why did Big Boss go and command Foxhound in the first place? Because his public face is out here with Diamond Dogs holding a fucking the philanthropist hostage. So your public face is fucking around with nukes, not necessarily the face you want to put out, right? Under Big Boss's name. Then there's the whole question of, is Mother Base Outer Heaven, or is Outer Heaven Zanzibar Land, or which one is which, and exactly how does that work out? It seems fairly clear to me that Mother Base is Outer Heaven because of how the game ends with the Operation N313 Intrude tape, but what happened to Philanthropist after Eli stole it? That's what the extra Mission 51 that's missing from the game was about. You go and find Eli and steal it back, or I do something with it, who knows? We don't know because the mission wasn't finished. But I brought up earlier that there's massive similarities between Rex and Sahelanthropus in terms of the design. So that's odd because it does mean that the Metal Gear technology didn't improve or go forward in 30 years. There's also the question of, in this game, you have several scenes where if you walk into certain areas, Venom will hallucinate that he sees Paz. And that does raise the question, if you're hallucinating things about Paz, how much of this game completely takes place in Venom's head? And also, where's the rest of the game? Kojima, I put here, but really it should say, where's the rest of the game? Konami. So there's the partially finished episode 51 that I mentioned. There's a video of it here. Can I play that shit? Well, it's not gonna play it because it's being a dick. Really? You're not gonna do that. Alright. Well, we won't watch it. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, this is just weird. They found these cutscenes in the game files. I'm gonna have to take a break and get something because I'm out of tea now and my voice is dying. Look. Sorry, didn't have the sound up.
These weapons are costing us our future. A future we sold to ease the pain of the present.
I'm sorry that's turned down so low. So I'm just gonna play the stuff. The visuals are pretty much identically the same. They found these armament and disarmament cutscenes, though, and we're not really sure. Yeah, the world has been rid of every last nuclear weapon. The first one is if every single player, because the game has an online aspect. So
The last nuke's been decommissioned.
Shift Monkey says Mission 51 never existed. Its completion state and the fact it was shown Makes no sense. Mission 51 is the one where that's the Sahelanthropus retrieval mission, though. But see, this here too is a cutscene that.
That is a fact.
So. Yeah, they had all of they did these cutscenes. They had the voice acting, and this is just some of the voice acting we know remains. Like, there's all kinds of stuff people have put up online of tons of voice acting clips that were cut out. Now, some of that might be Kojima being a perfectionist, but some of it might just be that it got cut, it got removed from the game. Sorry, I'm fucking with my sound a little bit. So, we don't know exactly what that was either. The armament disarmament cutscenes. I guess. Yeah, it was for the online stuff. Sorry, I can't turn up the volume any higher because I just can't. This is the thing that confused people, was this file, just this image, was found in the game. So a whole nother chapter potentially. We don't really know. Yeah. Oof. Do a stream on the Resident Evil series, Tyler Preston for 2. Maybe. I love Resident Evil. Yeah, they data mined 95 total missions, 27 missing, 10 hidden. That was the old data mining set, was 95 total missions, not 51. So, yeah, that's a whole fucking missing chapter. A whole third of the game essentially is gone. Yeah, hundreds of cut lines of Kiefer's dialogue. There was no return to Camp Omega, which was something that Kojima specifically promised. There were, again, scenes from the nuclear trailer that are missing. There's missing characters in that there are characters you might have expected to show up that did not. A lot of people talked about Solidus. We don't get any clarification on the relationship with Gray Fox. This was the game to put more clarification with who is Gray Fox. What is Gray Fox's relationship? Because in Metal Gear 2, Gray Fox says the reason why he betrays Snake, Solid Snake, and sides with Big Boss is he says, Big Boss saved me many times. Well, we still don't know anything about Gray Fox, so if you wanted to fucking elaborate upon that, this would have been the game to do it. The game takes place in Africa, where we know, for example, that Big Boss found and raised Sniper Wolf, and that there's no Sniper Wolf. What? Ugh! It's so frustrating. You know, Campbell's not really in it. Raiden would have been an infant, so I don't mind that. But no Sniper Wolf is really unforgivable, and no Gray Fox is also kind of unforgivable. And yeah, what was the taboo in this game that Kojima talked about? Some people thought it was killing the children in Africa. Maybe that was it. I don't know. He said that something about the game was taboo. Some unanswered things and fan theories are things like eyes on Kazuhira, which Code Talker says, what does that mean other than the fact that Kaz's eyes are fucked up? I don't know. There's some weird stuff. These are Diamond Dog's assets right here. Do I have my thing turned on? So yeah. Right here you can see this is a Diamond Dog's asset. This is OKB0 though. So the enemy base, why are there Diamond Dog's assets here? The obvious answer is that they were just reusing stuff, but that's not really Kojima's style. Now, we can get into Kojima apparently wasn't allowed to work on this game, more or less, to touch it, or to talk to anyone who was working on it directly for about 6 to 8 months towards the end of development. So maybe he didn't have anything to do with this, and it's just a weird thing that popped up. So the eyes on Kazuhira thing, that could be something to do with it. Maybe Kaz is betraying you. Other peace characters, pause, because Kazuhira means peace in Japanese, have betrayed you in the past, so what is it about these peace characters, or was it just that Kaz wanted to fuck Paz, and that's funny because they're both peace? Right, Patchouli says, Code Talker says eyes on Kazuhira because it's speculated Kaz was playing double agent and leaking info to Zero. Yeah, that's what people were speculating about the DD assets here at OKB0. Ishmael is the medic. The truth is a lie. Venom is what? What did I write here? Venom is the real Ishmael. What, like, there's all kinds of weird shit. Like, even if their explanation that the game gives you is real, so so the theory behind this is that Venom was the original Big Boss, but so everything is true about everything he remembers, but then was eventually tricked into thinking he was the medic through like some weird backwards Kojimble ruse cruising shit. So these were models that were pulled out of Ground Zero and from Phantom Pain. So here is Ishmael's face, the guy who saves you. And then here is the medic's face, the guy who Venom is supposed to be, ripped from Ground Zeroes. A coincidence? Not sure. Right, here's an issue, here's an interesting thing here. So Venom wakes up inside the ambulance after the ambulance crashes during your escape. And it says March 1st, 1984, the time is 3:07, and then this is the Ocelot scene with the supposed real big boss. It happens 2 hours later, but this timeline does not quite match up for Ocelot to get between these two areas, and because how can Ocelot be here when he's here 2 hours, 3 hours earlier? Possibly. It's just a little odd. Yeah. Another question is, if it's Big Boss, why does he have another eye? How can this be Big Boss? We're led to believe it is, unless it's a mask, I guess, or something else. There's also the simulation theory that MGSV, all of it is just training, like MGS2. There's some cool things like this in there. For example, if you trank Ocelot, he will say "Dadi-do-de-do." There's just some interesting stuff to do there. Also, if you leave the bounds of Africa, he'll say, like, once again from the top, as if it's a training mission if you fail. So Miller, on the other hand, cannot be tranked or shot. You can trank Ocelot, but you can't trank Miller. There's also tapes from the canceled Silent Hills game that Kojima was working on in Phantom Pain. That's PT. I still have that game on my... still have that game downloaded. Never, ever, ever will it disappear. Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain data tapes are incompatible. Oh, have an incomplete, this is so cool, Portopia code, which is missing the 3rd volume, interestingly enough. Portopia is an old game that where you play as the boss and the murderer. It's a murder mystery sort of game, detective story. The murderer has a butterfly-shaped mark, so does Quiet, and it is cited often by Kojima as a major influence. So how bizarre that some of the data tapes in Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain actually have this game partially in it. Let's see. I missed something, I thought. Maybe not. Oofed. Okay. Aiden says, oofed. Nozomu Yume says, Aiden, a lot of these questions are answered when you meet Solidus in Metal Gear Survive, and tells you about his plans to enter politics. Well, I don't consider Metal Gear Survive canon. I haven't played it, but holy shit. I'm just so upset by that game's very existence. Thank you, though, for the 5. And Desperado for 5 says, did you play the Front Mission series, which is it can be played, and can you do a stream on it as well? I have not played those, actually. But I have a lot of games that I'm really... and games and series in general. This is probably the last big thing I'm gonna do, because this is my favorite part. So, you can tell that I'm very objective in this panel. Oh, that's my old name on here, whoops. That's okay, people know it. Whoopsie. So Aiden is obsessed with the boss and is a little biased. Yeah, she basically punched Hitler in the face. I told you guys she gave birth to Ocelot on the battlefield, just cut him right the fuck out. One thing that I find is interesting about the boss, and I've talked to other people about this, is that she's one of very few female characters in games that is strong and feminine in a way, and is a good female character that is not just sexualized in any way, because I think that your look at her when you play that game is very similar to how Naked Snake sees her, of being like, how can you can't want to fuck, she's more than his mother. Yeah, what did I put here? What is this? The novelization diverges from TPP from the rest of the canon since it notes that Solidus doesn't become president. In the TPP novelization? Huh. I'll have to read that shit then. Yeah, she's your mom, your mentor, your hero, and I really like that about the character. I just think she's fantastically well done. a true patriot. Her vision of the world is a world without borders, uncontrolled by powerful people without concern for individuals. Now, I don't think she wants the powerful people thing. I like that, I'm sorry who said it earlier in Streamlabs, which is the idea that it's nationhood, it's not necessarily fucking borders. No, it's not my name, Rusty Shackleworth, that's another alias. But, no one would have a name spelled that way. But yeah, everyone seems to manage to misunderstand her vision, and in that way, it kind of makes her Jesus, I would say. Not only is she a... Oh, Bill, is it completely in Japanese? If it's got too much kanji, I can't fucking do that shit. Holy fuck, no. I'll read the synopsis. I can't do kanji. Anyway, she essentially serves as a Jesus figure in the series, and I like this image because of that. I also have a totally different image on my wall that I found it at a convention a couple years ago that has a snake circling her head in a very similar Halo-like manner. Because yeah, she martyrs herself. She, dies for what she believes in, for the country, and no one seems to be able to get her message. She dies giving off a message, and everyone wants to follow her, but no one can figure out what the fuck it is she meant in some way. Is she a Mary Sue, Laughing Octopus? I don't think so, because I don't think she's perfect. I think, like anyone else, she's a flawed character, but we also don't really get to know her enough as a person. We get so few glimpses of who is the boss. And really, what I would have liked, potentially, I would have preferred... I do cosplay the boss as well. I would have preferred, if we were going to do another prequel game, rather than the Phantom Pain, I really would have liked it to be the Cobra unit, World War II, following the boss and the Cobra unit. That would have been fucking great. There was so much you could do with that. Ugh, oh well. Might have been bad too, because I don't want to know too much about her too. On some level. I took Japanese for like 10 years. I know kanji, I just hate fucking practicing it. Respect her so much you can't secularize her. Oh, well, you can. I'm saying you as in playing as Naked Snake. So... Ocelot's another fan. That's actually really short for me to go. I'm actually astounded that that's how long it took me to go over the boss, because I could really... I'm just so impressed with Kojima's work for this character. That's all. So Ocelot, yeah, is arguably the most confusing character in the series. In 1964, he is a triple agent. CIA spies who says meow and gets turned on by Snake getting tortured, which he totally does. Oh, so I don't forget who asked it. Why are there so many women who like Metal Gear? And I said it's because it's almost entirely men. There is a lot of homosexual, both overtones and undertones in Metal Gear that are undeniable. That's why women like it, okay? Pillow Troa says tossing it for 5, thanks you, says tossing a few bucks because love your work. Also, any thoughts on the boss game getting canceled? Pilot Throa. I didn't even know that it was planned. I just thought it was an idea that I had. I didn't know it was on any kind of real plot to exist. So by 1984, he's BB, or more accurately, Venom's bestie, and the voice of reason on Mother Base. How did we go from this to that? Loves, also just a weird guy. He's a Russian, but who loves spaghetti westerns, but he's really not. He's actually, the boss's son. By 2001, he's a crazy old guy with his own indecipherable motive, other than getting Big Boss's body, more or less. And by 2007, 2009, he has Liquid's arm, and I still don't know what he's doing. And by 2014, he's still a crazy old guy channeling Liquid for reasons that are pretty much ambiguous. Except for the one reason, which is looking out for number 1. Is he really just the man who trolled the world? I think that's accurate about Ocelot. Vigo says Vamp versus Raiden. Best example of homoerotic moments in MGS. Yeah, there's a lot of homoeroticism. No, Scrap Car Kara School says Fujos don't understand real friendship between men, to be honest. I agree with you completely that Fujos don't understand men's relationships. Snake is living in a fucking plane, raising a Sunny with Hal. That's just kinda gay. I think it's a bromance too, but you can see how it is I think the same thing between, well, then you have moments like in Peace Walker, where you can go on a date with Kazuhira. So and he will do a little dance at his Speedo for you. I'm saying that it is not outside of the realm of real reason why women think this game is full of homosex shit. Yes, the shower fight between BB and Kaz. Yes. Oh my god, I'll play that. I haven't seen it with Kaz. I have it with Ocelot, with the edit. So, I want to talk about, I'll just get through this real quick and then we'll do fun stuff for I'll try to get through it. So I love Raiden. I talked about it. I actually really wanted, there's some figures I seriously want to buy. A figure I really want to buy of MGSRR, or either the MGSRR one or the MGS4 one of Raiden. There's also a $300 Solid Snake figure that I really want, but whoops. Yeah, he was originally pretty much just disliked for not being Snake, and yes, he's very whiny at the beginning of MGS2, but as he overcomes his brainwashing, he just goes fucking insane, and then when he shows up in MGS4, it is... I'll just play it if it actually works. And yeah, the scene was just so fucking awesome. I mean, is it gay? Yeah, but a little bit, since we talked about it a minute ago. Oh, you're talking about the 1 and 2, yeah. This one's just badass. And this is also, it's happening, this whole thing is happening, outside of your main vision, so you don't even get a chance to really notice how fucking awesome it is. But when he shows up for the first time with his cyborg body, it's just, oofed. Oh, yeah, I thought you said in, Bill, I thought you said in Phantom Pain. That's in Peace Walker though, yeah. Peace Walker probably has more gay shit in it than anything. Than any single game, there's probably more gayness in Peace Walker. Alec Ondusko for 5 says alternative character interpretations are fun. Yes, agree. And Kojima is a good sport for including them in Peace Walker. I also just thought it was cool that Kojima fucking included himself in Ground Zeroes. Anyway, this fight is fucking awesome. I mean, yeah, Vamp is a bisexual, right? So, yeah, it's at least partially literally gay. And then he's just more Raiden's then more badass in Revengeance. I do think he arguably had a harder life than Snake. I'll ask at the end. So he's a child soldier, trained to kill, was raised in Liberia. Is it Liberia or Libya? Libya, sorry. And so I'm guessing, well, that's why he's already white, and he's got fucking white hair on top of it. He probably stood out, obviously stood out like a sore fucking thumb. Rose lied to him at one point during the MGS2 about her having a miscarriage. He, you know, has to end up pretending to be, because she does end up having the kid, and then pretends to be married, loses his physical body, everything bad that could was it Liberia or Libya? Liberia. Okay, thanks guys. Yeah, there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of white people in Liberia. There's not a ton of white people in Libya either, but Liberia, thanks. Anyway, if you don't love Raiden, you should. He's a really good character. I will ask, okay, 1 in the chat if Snake had the hardest life, and 2 if it was Raiden. Who had the harder life? And we'll move on while I'm doing that. So, I put Quiet on here because I think she gets a lot of hate, and I kind of just wanted to talk about her. When I used to do this panel was more shortly after the game came out, so I think the last time I edited it was like 2016? No, probably early 2017. Yeah, I did this in public first, early 2017. So, I like Quiet. Let me see. Oh, it's pretty split, man. Who had the harder life? Oh shit. It's really split. I think a lot of people have 3s of it's just both of them had hard lives. Yes, Quiet is an optional character too. You can beat the entire game without ever running across her, or you can just kill her. Both things are completely fine. My favorite thing was, and I think they patched it, because I was playing it again not too long ago, where you used to be able to do something really fun when you could recruit her, of, you could just call in a drop right on top of her head, and it would knock her out, and then you run up. Well, then you could, you might have to trank her again, I don't remember. But I tried to do it again, it didn't work. Fucking lame. That was such a cool little exploit. I kind of like her relationship with Venom. They both have this lust for revenge, and it's interesting because her lust for revenge is against him, but maybe it's just the actual camaraderie and loyalty that exudes from Venom that she can't betray him. I would like Quiet. I do. I won't cosplay her because fuck no. I don't do that kind of shit. So, I go through here and explain a little bit more about why she's wearing the skanky costume. But was I on a higher difficulty? Oh, maybe that was it. Maybe that was it. The first time I played, I might have played on a lower one. I just had this panel in here because I just want to say, Quiet got a lot of hate from everybody. Some people didn't like her because the feminists didn't like her because my skanky costume. Am I going to talk about the end or Psycho Mantis? Do I have Psycho Mantis on here actually? Because it would be cool to talk about Psycho Mantis. Oh, it's just gonna be, oh, this is actually just me masturbating over Venom Snake because I fucking love Venom. It's another character, he's another character where I like him more than Big Boss. I might like him more than Solid Snake. He's so fucking tragic too. I don't like him as much as Raiden. Raiden's #1, but maybe not as much as Ocelot either, but fuck. I really like Venom. He's such a good concept of a character of this actually betrayed soldier who is super loyal to Big Boss and then ends up getting mind fucked, if that's true. Am I a Fujo for loving Venom and using that picture? Probably. I think he's the best version of Big Boss. And I can't decide if he's better than Solid Snake or not, but I like him way more than Naked Snake. Naked Snake. Whoops. I know people don't like him because he's not Big Boss, similar to Raiden, but this is Kojima's whole thing about memes. I think Kojima did this on purpose in some level, because when people realized that Venom wasn't Big Boss, they got pissy, just like they got pissed about Raiden. But Kojima's trying to tell this message about the power of memetics, right? And how things can be transferred socially, sort of, or through learned information like this, not necessarily direct experiences. So Venom is the memetic version of Big Boss, just as Raiden is the memetic version of Solid Snake, excuse me. Nozomu Yume for 5 says, come on, who was it who faced down terrorists, megalomaniacal AIs, ninjas, and met his hero while cupping his schlong the whole time? It's Raiden. And one of my favorite things in 2 is that while you can do the splits, basically, while you're running around cupping your crotch, and then right as the loading screen pops up, it freezes the frame. It made for many funny times playing MGS2. What about Quiet's alternative costume fatigues as cosplay? Maybe. It's not necessarily on my my soon-to-do list. Venom is weird in the novels since the novels portray him as clearly less proficient than even Kaz? Really? So he relies on others, but he's also a bloodthirsty bastard. Oh, I love how bloodthirsty he is. It's another reason I like him so much. I don't have anything on Psycho Mantis then, but Psycho Mantis is a really interesting character. Again, we kind of had some more ability to get more about him in Phantom Pain, but it was cut out, and so much of that about Volgan and Mantis seems to be part of maybe what was removed from the final version of the game. I think the game would have been, I think it's still a fantastic game, but it would have been an absolute masterpiece, and maybe a rival to be the cornerstone of the series, or the capstone, excuse me. Cornerstone would be laying the foundation. The capstone to the series that MGS4 truly is. So, was I playing the David Bowie version? No, that was the version from the game. So, where is Metal Gear? This is for anybody interested in this, who's sat now here for 2.5, almost getting, or 1.5, approaching 2 hours. listening to me talk about a video game series. If you have not played them, even though I spoiled shit, my point is anything I have told you about those games is so incredibly basic that it should not really affect your enjoyment of the games, even if you don't have that high need for cog, low need for affect thing that makes you like them. Not mind spoilers such as myself. This is almost up to date because it does not include, to this point, Metal Gear Survive. Again, I will not play it. I find it to be an affront to my existence. Popog for 2 says, is your hair prepping for your cosplay of Jack? Nah, maybe. I do love Raiden though. But this is pretty simple here, guys. It's on the screen. If you're interested, I really recommend the Legacy Collection. It's got Metal Gear 1, 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, but it's a voucher code. Metal Gear Solid 2 HD, Metal Gear Solid 3 HD, Peace Walker HD, and Metal Gear Solid 4. That's really all you need. So, you know, if you're interested and you haven't played it, it's all but Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain. Belial 1125 for 5 says, I first saw Raiden as the hero MG Metal Gear, but when I played 3 and Snake's appearance was just wrong to me at first, then it grew on me. See, that's interesting because you came at it from the opposite perspective and had a different reaction when you played as Raiden more first. I always thought, Nozomu Yume for 5 says, I always thought Raiden should have had an infinite ammo bandana. Yeah, that was basically a cute little ribbon tied around his junk. Yeah, that would have been funny. I'm missing a slide on Johnny Sasaki. Johnny is hilarious. He's one of those reoccurring characters. Yeah, like, I wanted to get in here so we have like 20 minutes to just talk and chill. And we can talk about characters like Johnny and, fucking A. I can't believe, actually, that Meryl and Johnny got married. It's kind of cute in MGS4, but it was also like, really? I think it's cute. Oh, there are some weird theories about Johnny being Snake, I've heard. I don't get that theory. But, I've heard that before. There's some other ones, too. I'm gonna show you something sad, guys. We're gonna read this comic, because I have this, if it's clear enough. I just liked this comic. This is just some sad shit. This is my canon ending to the Phantom Pain. So we've got it's Venom. We've got Quiet Butterfly. This is the end of Phantom Pain / also the end of Metal Gear 1. It's of course Snake. Ah, yes, I remember now. Lighting up a cigar. The butterfly representing either quiet or pause, whichever you want it to be. Hello, Ahab. Ishmael, you've really kept me waiting. Huh? Just wanted you to know that I've made it out safely. They won't suspect a thing. You played your role perfectly. I see. That's good, so at least I've done something right here. I never expected him to succeed. Then it seems that Solid Snake was more competent than either of us gave him credit for. Because remember again, Big Boss sent Solid Snake to Outer Heaven, Mother Base, to kill Venom! Fuck! Quite a heavy tuition for such a meager lesson. It's over. He's destroyed the Metal Gear and activated the self-destruct sequence. Our Outer Heaven will go up in smoke in a matter of minutes, and the public will think that Big Boss died with it. I see. Are you sure you can't make an escape? Positive. He got me good. I can't feel my lower body. This is it for me, Ishmael. No amount of digoxin. Oh yeah, digoxin will help me this time. Outer Heaven won't die with you. As long as men carry the name of Big Boss a man carrying the name of Big Boss is alive, there will always be someone striving to create a nation for soldiers. I don't think that's what the boss meant, but okay. Are you familiar with Zanzibar land? How could I not? So, I know how that word is pronounced. Russian. The location of our first and last mission as part of the Fox unit. Last I heard of, they'd splintered off from the Soviet Union and became their own state. Selyarsk? Oh no. Never mind, it's not something you need to worry about anymore. Don't worry, I'll keep our dream alive. Huh, so my mission is finally coming to an end after so long. It was my pleasure, Ishmael. No, Big Boss. Pull out that fucking MP3 player that shouldn't exist. I see. So you've come to pick me up then. Oofed. I love that comic. It's so sad. I love it. I love stupid shit like that. Sorry guys, I wanted to show you something sad, now I'll show you funny things. And I'll also just be reading the chat more, a little bit more frequently now, because we're pretty much done, so we're just doing fun things now. If you enjoyed that not so dramatic reading, because my voice is fucked, yeah. That's how I would have liked it to end. I would have liked more conclusion with Quiet's character. I would have liked more wrap-up between... Because if that had been the way it had ended between Big Boss and Venom, that they reconciled themselves with each other, that would have been cool. RZEQDW for 5. Hi, thank you. Said, found you through the Dick Show. Hi from a new fan. Hello. Nozumu Yume for 2 says, Meryl marries Johnny because she has a scat fetish. Maybe, maybe. What is this actually? Oh, this is what I was talking about. This is just a character model replacement that is hilarious. If you happen to come back to Mother Base while oof, hang on actually. How loud is this? Patrol talks about having the Sony TPS-L2 in Ground Zero that wouldn't exist for 4 years. I suppose you could argue that it's because they have special fucking, I don't know, PMC technology. This always fucking is so hilarious. So if you come back to Mother Base while it's raining, Quiet will be out doing this shit. They just replaced the model with Ocelot and it's amazing. Wow. Holy shit. Oof. Women's studies are cancer. Yeah, they are. Okay. Christopher Baker says, I always thought it was interesting that as Raiden becomes more proficient at killing, the more his humanity is stripped away in the form of cyborg parts. Also, the way Paz died was fucked up. Yeah, it was. And that's a very interesting thing I hadn't really thought of, was that how, yeah, Raiden, as Raiden becomes more like Jack, more of Jack, the less he is Raiden, kind of. or an individual person. This might be another gay thing. Oh no, this is just funny. I really love the model replacements. They make me laugh far more than they should. But this one's called Ocelot's Day Out. They replaced D-Dog's model with Ocelot. I stopped the degeneracy. It's over now. I missed your super chat. Hang on. Enjoy this while I look for it. It's really funny. Oh, Cypher, sorry. God, like I said, I'm losing my voice. Oh, that's your Venom cosplay and your pick. That's awesome, dude. This shit's so fucking funny. At least to me. But I like stupid shit. Since I'm doing all these series on humor and about how, like, nonsense humor doesn't appeal to most people but children, but this appeals to me. The crane technique, says James Dietrich. Gabriel Burris says, what's your opinion on the boss's stance on nuclear war? What if the world went to war? What if the world went to war that the side attacked first to destroy their own nuclear capability to preserve government? I'm not sure. I mean, generally speaking, the boss's whole thing was to try and prevent nuclear war in any way, and, well, this is mutually assured destruction. That's the problem with it. This is how we end up with the Fermi paradox kind of shit, right? Is like, basically, do all societies get to the point where they just blow each other up? Well, I'd like to avoid it. Marley, do I ship Boss X Ocelot? You mean the boss? Ew. No. Now, I have a picture up here that everyone else thinks is gay. I don't think it's gay. I will put it up on the screen because I have it actually in my thingy. It's in my rotating images that I pulled up for this panel, that it is Big Boss and Miller in a box together, and it says Love Pack underneath of it. I just thought it was cute. I didn't really think it was gay. Well, maybe a little gay. A Gravedigger for 5 says, which snake is Trap Snake? I don't know. Who is a trap? I'm not sure. Traps aren't gay. What is this? I don't actually know what these are. Oh, this is the... I was talking about the gay Kaz shit, and then I actually have it in here. Fuck yeah.
Okay, Kaz. I mean, I've got MSF business to think about.
If I keep playing this, you're all gonna just call me a Fujo.
Nice to just sit and watch the sunset, you know? Yeah.
You're all gonna laugh at me.
Would you be up for going to the...
Shit, those Ocelot scene, Petri Hellenius for €5 says those Ocelot scenes killed me. Anyway, since we're talking about Kojima, how hard are your nips for Death Stranding? Oh, they are rock solid diamond dogs. Alec and Jiska for 5. Thanks so much, again, always. I don't think juxtaposition humor is necessarily nonsense humor. It feels like it's a tenuous subversion of expectations. Maybe. This is, of course, Hey, Herios, thank you for the 5 Brazilian dollars, which is a fan of your work. Here's my support. Thank you, as always. Meow, meow, meow. Okay, here's my proof that there's gay stuff in these games, and that's why women like them. What is the best Revengeance boss track? Oh, fuck, man. That's fucking impossible. Every Revengeance boss track is so perfect because it's the character that you're fighting. Basically, I'll just talk about let's play. Talking about their history and their background and their feelings and shit, and giving you all of their character history and everything you need to know about that character in a really interesting and awesome, like, metal way. Alexandria's Genesis for 5 says, which fan content do you prefer, gay porn or real school hours memes? I actually really don't like porn, gay porn of stuff. I'm not into yaoi at all. So, for real, yaoi does nothing for me. I really like the bromance element of Metal Gear more than anything. It is a little gay, but I do generally perceive them all as bromances. Nozomu Yume for 2 says, do you watch Isaac Arthur? No, I have not heard of him. Yeah, I'm generally not into the yaoi stuff. I just kind of think it's... I like the bromance shit. I love the bromance between, Solid and Otacon. It's seriously one of the best bromances, not just in games but in media ever. And I do think even though they raise Sunny together, that's still a bromance. Aiden is Griffith gay. Yeah, a little. I think Griffith's gay. I mean, maybe just a little bit.
Cut it out. You're making me blush.
Oofed. But this is why people think that there's gay shit in these games, you know? Hang on, let me look for something real quick. Because there's something else that... there's something else... I don't know how long... I know I made this a couple years ago, so I'm not sure what all is in this in terms of stuff. Favorite Revengeance boss? Oh, fucking Sam! Of course! Of course my favorite boss is Sam. I love Sam. Have I played Asura's Wrath? Yeah, it's fun. Asura's Wrath is a really fun, if short, game. I don't know if you said it. What's my favorite Metal Gear game? It's 2. It's MGS2. It is. I can't help it. I want to say MGS3, but it's 2. 2 is so bizarre. It's so politically relevant, even now. And just interesting that, yeah, there's no way it can't be 2. What is this? I don't actually know what these are sometimes, so... Well, this doesn't know what it is either. Okay. Oh, I was talking about some of the weird shit from MGS2. So if you shoot the birds...
You actually enjoy abusing helpless animals.
I don't believe this. I had no idea you were that kind of a monster.
I don't understand you right now. If you're
This is why I love MGS2 so much too. MGS2, I mean, all of them have tons and tons and tons of tiny little things in them, of little quirks or Easter eggs or secrets. But I love MGS2 because not only do I feel like it has the most, it's the most meta game. Nozomi Yume says Isaac Arthur does great. Oh, I do know who Isaac Arthur is. I was actually just, yes, he does sound like Elmore Fudd. I was just watching his video on post-scarcity societies. That's so fucking stupid that I know exactly who that is, and because I wasn't in the right mode of thinking. Yeah, I was watching his video on post-scarcity societies he put out maybe 2 days ago, just earlier. Let's see. Aiden Paladin says, Kill Frank, the reason I hear you like kings, what about reasonable ones? I like, yeah, reasonable king. That's what I'm down for. No homo, please. These are things that are in the games. I can't help this. I mean, not the model replacements, but the other shit really is. These are just Easter eggs, I think. This is another one from, I mentioned this earlier.
Jack, give it a rest. I can't bear watching you do that.
I disapprove. Return to your duty.
This is if you spend too much.
That's what I feel like saying, but I'm beginning to feel like putting you in charge was not such a good idea. Right? I'm at a loss for words.
I'm afraid to ask. Do you do that in my room too?
Right, and that's long enough. Hurry up and get back to your duties if you've seen enough.
Jack, in retrospect, I'm really glad that I took this assignment.
Huh?
It's given me a chance to see you for who you really are. Goodbye.
Fucking bitch.
So
Fucking bitching at Raiden for masturbating. This is if you sit again in the bathroom with the pinup picture for too long, they start to call you and say this shit. Hirios says you forgot to mention that Sahelanthropus is probably the last common ancestor between humans and chimps. That's true, just as Metal Gear is the missing link between infantry and artillery. Get it? Ha 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 ha! Oof. Driver Shaft, there is also the hidden codec where Snake talks about Vamp being bisexual. Yeah. The person who comments says, Aiden, in terms of time period, do you prefer early MGS, near future Zone of the Enders art style, or late MGS retro, late 20th century aesthetic? I love Zone of the Enders too. It's another great, I mean, I love Zone of the Enders as well. And hey, Appabend, what's up? Oh, Appa, you're gonna fucking play the new David Cage shit show? Godspeed, you magnificent bastard. I don't know, actually, I like both aesthetics. I kind of like that it got more Western inspired as it went on, so I like that bit. Marley asks if you are a boss for not caring about the boss. Are you a bastard for not caring about the boss in any way, shape, or form? No, but you you disappoint me. Who is your favorite codec support character? Oh, fuck, man. I don't know, oh, but it's gotta be Paramedic. No, well, I like Paramedic only because of her, I like Paramedic only because of her involvement in the story and the weird sexual flirtation, but I don't know, there's so many good ones. Colonel in this game is great. Fuck. Let's see, Petri Hellenius, I hear it's amazing when the famous purple stuffed worm in flap jaw space with the tuning fork does a raw blink on Harekiri Rock. I need scissors 6-1. What was that from? Is that one of the codec things? I don't remember that one. What do you think of the scene with Raiden finally meeting his son? Oh, I loved it. It was fucking kawaii desu. He gets his happy ending, yeah, and then Revengeance just shits on it. And Revengeance is like, bring out Jack again. Do you have the codec where Raiden is shit-talking Snake to Otacon, and Snake is listening to the whole time? Holy shit, yes, there's so much weird shit that happens towards the end of this game, particularly when you meet up with Snake. I love the fact that you try to fuck with him, he just takes your ass down, but there's so much weird stuff where it's, I think if you... What is it that you do to Snake? I can't remember now, but he'll be like, don't be weird, Raiden. It's so fucking funny. Oh my god. Do Nier and Drakengard next. Yeah. It's one of the only series that I can do that I don't have a cosplay from. I wanted to cosplay, what's her name? Shoot. Angula? What's her, from the first Drakengard. What is her? Wow, why is my brain not working? It's because I'm thinking about something else. My brain basically works like a shitty Dell computer. So it has to like access another part of the hard drive. Furia, not Furia. Ariok, the crazy one, whose kids died. I like her. She's neat. Let's see what else we got. What is this exactly? Oh, Eva, just her just dreaming about fucking. I'm sorry, it has fucking Spanish subtitles. This is what I found, where she just talks about wanting to fuck Naked Snake if you tranquilize her. Mirabelle, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
Oh, boss.
Petri Hellenius, I don't remember that codec. Holy shit. Frenchinator, you're the one who asked me to check Discord DMs? I'll check it in a minute when we get off the stream, yeah. I'm gonna finish probably in like 5-10 minutes, yeah. Well. Cosplaying as 2B. Maybe. Maybe. If like, here's the problem with Nier, is that I love Kaine, but fuck no, I'm not doing that. Hell no. I don't have the balls of that trap to wear that outfit, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know what all is here, honestly. What is this? I honestly don't know what this is. Oh! This is the Metal Gear comics. I forget who drew them now. Again, it's been a while. If you guys haven't seen these, they were a bunch of Metal Gear comics that were really popular, viral popular, and I'll just play this while we go through the rest. Data Rock says, shitty Dell computers? You mean Dell computers? Yarp. Appabend, you'll be posting lewds in Detroit? Whatever it's called? David Cage's new thing? Okay. I'm sure there are lewds in it. There's lewds in most of his games. Curious, after that, shall we have an Alfred or Murdoch stream? I cannot stream anything about Murdoch. Or Alfred I guarantee. That's, what's her name's work? I'm sorry. Again, her name is escaping me. But I like both of those. There's no way I can stream that. There's a reason they don't exist on YouTube. I don't remember the Colonel going crazy on Codec. I do, but I don't remember that exact quote. George Garbo. I mean, because he says all kinds of crazy shit. Is that in MGS2? Near the end where he just starts to say random ass fucking shit? Probably. Bullet Shepherd for 5 says, for most of the game, I could only think of Raiden as Leonardo from Ninja Turtles because Cam Clark was his voice actor, plus he had a katana. Well, that's true. Popop for 2 says, Sam Fisher's send-off video is in the Discord. Oh, let me get that real quick. We'll play that. First, it's in my Discord? Or did you send it to me on Discord? Oh, but now I don't know who anyone's name is. Hang on. Oh, no. Ah, thank you. Okay, I got it. I will pull it up in just a second. Let's do this now, then, I guess. Oh, see, shit's fucked up because it's set up for it's set up specifically for this. So give me a minute and I'll bring it up. Okay. Let's do it now. I just have to do this really quickly. Window capture. Boop, boop, boop. Isn't it weird how it recommends myself streaming to me? Okay, I'm gonna turn myself down, turn this up. Let's see what this is.
Don't say that.
It's really quiet. So quiet. Oh. Okay.
This is the genre.
It's not like someone else couldn't handle a stealth mission.
Don't say that. This is the genre we turned over every leaf in.
Why don't you make Sam or Gabe do the job?
Snake.
Interesting. You have any extra?
Oh, it's not like you can shake me and make my ammo fall on the floor to pick up.
You're awfully flippant for someone with a knife to his throat.
I forgot about that shit. I'm not as much of a fan of Counter.
Linda, how you doing?
What am I saying?
You're looking good, real good.
It's Karen today. You look like you've clocked some miles since we last spoke.
Yeah, a few. I've heard they don't make them like me anymore. There was this other guy, though. Army infiltration. He wore a bandana or something.
I heard he finally retired.
Really?
Yep.
It's only me.
Sam,
Yeah,
you got it.
I do.
That's pretty cool. I've never been as much a fan of Splinter Cell, whoopsie, as Metal Gear or some other stealth games. That's really fucking good. That's very well done. Oofed. Whoops. Get rid of that. That's pretty hardcore. Press have to pay respects. And that's really the description of this stream is only rip and RIP and pepperoni. Holy shit. That's sad. Let's end it on a happier note then. If you guys haven't seen this shit, it's fucking hilarious.
Patriots kidnapped some dudes and are planning a nuclear strike. Snake, get in there. Okay, time to rescue them. Oh, what now? Wait, first I need to introduce some guys. Okay.
Hi, Snake. I'm here to save your progress and read your proverbs.
Oh, man, language is a good one too, yeah.
Man, I love Alaska. Master Miller, what have you been doing? Whoops, gotta go shoot down some F-16s. I mean, call me if you want to talk about Alaskan weather. Okay, bye.
Okay, time to rescue the DARPA chief. Hello there. In order to stop Metal Gear, you need 3 card keys and...
Naomi, what just
I
happened?
don't know, stop asking questions!
Well, guess I'll head somewhere else.
Stop, I have a gun!
This is the first time you ever pointed a gun at a person.
I'm not a rookie! Oh, you shoot them!
That's all for now. Huh? Where's she going?
Remember this, it'll be important later. Remember that ass.
Snake, what about the Arms Tech president? Oh yeah, almost forgot. Time to rescue the Arms Tech president.
Touch those wires and that old man gets blown to crap. Check this out.
It's so good though.
What? Okay, keep up. President Baker, we need to solve.
You know, really, it's a shame that basically Ocelot never really gets to show off either his pistol or his revolver tricks without getting made to look like a fucking retard baby. Why no Metal Gear Awesome, Rusty? I don't know. Has everyone seen Metal Gear Awesome? They have to have. It's a fucking classic. I felt less people had seen this, so it's why it's on here probably.
Warheads. This realistic background footage is jarring and unnecessary. You have to find that female soldier and Dr. Hal Emily. Time to contact What's-Her-Face.
I want to be a soldier, but it's too hard. Why do I have to shoot people?
Shut up. Snake, they're invisible lasers.
Fucking women, am I right?
Okay.
Hello, I am Rata. No cigarettes. You're never going to call me again.
Time to go to the nuclear warhead storage building. Oh, what now? I can use my detector, but I don't get one. Okay, I got a mine detector. Here I go.
Mine detected.
You can just collect mines by crawling on them, so you don't really need that. Oh yeah, just take a minute. Okay,
bye. Here's a question. Is Tonka Vulcan Raven? French Nerd 2, did you see the Destroy Resident Evil 4? Them Destroy Resident Evil 4, what did they do? What did they do? I like Resident Evil 4. It's not my... is it my favorite? I don't know. Hurt me, Snake. Of course, the fucking Metal Gear Awesome version of this is hurt me, Snake, hurt me, dog. Whatever. I don't know. I like things like this. What is this? I don't. Oof. Oh, it's the same thing. It's just more of a... Well, is this all that this is? Yeah, it's just more of a... Okay. Why did I put like 6 of these things in there when I knew we wouldn't... Oh, here it is. Hang on. There it is. It's right there.
Can I take off the suit?
Yeah, whatever, but it's pretty fucking cool.
Hello, Solid Snake.
Oh my god, hotness, I wanna bang you.
Oh, I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake.
Okay, shut up.
Oh, it's so old, but I love it so much.
Hey, Snake, check it. Go sneak that shit.
Okay. Whose footprints are these? What the fuck? I didn't expect that.
Oh, this is very, very old Egoraptor, guys. You don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry, G. I thought Snake was dead.
Didn't even break a sweat. Shit, I killed a dog by sweating.
Hello, Snake. It's been a while. Do you remember me?
Liquid?
No, this is McDonald Miller, your old buddy.
Who? Are you from Snake's Revenge?
No, Snake. Don't you remember?
Why is there a hell?
Oh my god, hotness, yeah.
It's my stomach. I'm hungry.
Hungry for worms?
No, hungry for worms.
Shut up.
Oofed.
Shut up, for Christ's sake. I know how to climb a ladder.
This is so
Jesus,
old.
Out of my ear.
Sorry, bruh.
Thanks, Jesus.
It's cool.
Whoa, awesome.
Whatever. I'm really done fucking playing. Oh, as much as it's fun, I'm gonna basically just... I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh, okay. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Woofties. Which story we're moving? This thingy. Okay. And we'll put this back up. Should have been the thing for a while. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna go for about 5 to 10 more minutes. That's gonna be it. So if there's any questions that we're doing, and then I'll do this too, because it's dark now, so it's a little bit fucking cold, more cool inside. So I can have the fucking jacket on. All right. And boop. Okay. So if there's any more questions, I'll do like 5 more minutes if we have anything else we want to talk about with Metal Gear. Yeah, from an era when Egoraptor was good. Yeah, I remember it fondly. Not so much, and I don't know. I guess like the thing is, with Egoraptor, I had a Maddox Dick effect thing happen, where I came in to Game Grumps liking Egoraptor and knowing Egoraptor, and not really knowing John. And then I ended up liking John so much more, and yeah, I just ended up, when that split happened, I didn't like it. Remember when David Hayter quoted Metal Gear Awesome? Yeah, that was fucking sweet, man. I mean, because Metal Gear Awesome is essentially just NECA's quietly stewing, is he, Merc? I mean, I did tell you to come on now, but I'm only gonna go for like 5 more minutes. It's been going on for 2 hours. It's a really long fucking stream. Naka, I'm sorry. Next time, how about you can get on my stream about Dragon Dragoon, something I almost assure you that you don't know about. I forgot to mention when Colonel Volgan grabbed General Rykov's crotch. Yeah, well, so you are a man. There's a lot of crotch grabbing that happens in Metal Gear. Again, not the most hetero of series. If you're looking for gayness, it's a series that is just packed full of jam. As is probably someone's asshole. Oh, Jesus. That was a Stargate reference, and then I made a gay joke on top of it. Ha! Gold coin, what's the meaning of life? Do you want me to say the really gay answer? I'd say 42, which is not how that question was phrased, and I hate when people say that usually, so it was what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? 42. John Haruki, Single Action Army, the greatest handgun ever made, as brought to you by Big Boss. The person who comments, did you ever see that one video where all the MGS English voice actors get together and started RPing as their characters to each other in a group therapy session? No, I have not, but that sounds fucking amazing. Did Jonathan's death in Portable Ops affect you at all? Not as much as some of the other deaths. Jonathan's death. Oh, right, fuck. I haven't played fucking Portable Ops in a while. 2 hours, it's barely 4 cutscenes. I know. It's a long stream. Lies, damn flies. Long stream because you can't get enough of us. It's okay, we love you too. I love you all. Oh, Bill, you think Drakengard 2 did nothing wrong? Oh, well, I actually don't totally disagree. I think Drakengard 2 just, it was a misstep, but it wasn't a horrible game the way people like to pretend it is in the series. People have this kind of weird, impression that Drakengard 2 is like the worst thing ever made and the worst thing that ever happened to the series. Now, things that are true about it. Graphically, it is a step down. Gameplay-wise, it's about on par. Story-wise, kind of shite. So, it's not as good as Drakengard, that's all it is. And the doctor pissing his pants. Weird connection to Otacon as far as I can recall. One thing about Twin Snakes I don't like, actually, because I generally like Twin Snakes, because it has really insane cutscenes. Like, at one point, you Snake, literally 360 no-scopes Sniper Wolf. I mean, he turns around in a fucking circle and 360 no-scopes her. Oh, I should have brought this out earlier. So, when I ordered this costume, right, I went on eBay, and I found replica Airsoft PSG-1. This is what I was sent. This is not a PSG-1 in any way. So, and I mean, the scope's off it now because it's a fucking Airsoft piece of shit. But, yeah. And did I remove the mechanism from this? Oh, I did, didn't I? Well, no, I didn't. I didn't remove all the mechanism then. Fuck. Oh, well. Because at cons, you can't bring anything approaching real. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll buy that. That's not a PSG-1. Not in the least. Oh, Wellsies. Lebo, you asked me a question on Twitter. I'm only looking at chat right now because I have to bring up other thingies. Have you ever seen the one where while on a panel, Quentin Flynn prank calls David Hayter? No. Show my snack flag? It's back there. And then there's another one there. So I got multiple snacks. Some quiet comments you might enjoy, Sean. Well, as long as they're not pornographic. I don't approve of porn, and this is a Christian stream. Bullet Shepherd for 5 says, shit, I just realized I mixed up Cam Clark as Liquid's voice actor, not Raiden. My bad, Joe. No problem. Thank you. Nozume Yume, for 5 says, one last dono before the stream ends for the awesomest woman on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's directed by Kitamura, so it's to be expected, Aiden. Yeah. Oh, the other thing about that too, not just the really insane cutscenes talking about Twin Snakes, because there's also Snake does a backflip over a rocket, which is amazing. I like that one. I don't like the fact that in the scene that happened the exact same way in Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid, excuse me, Hal pisses his pants like 2 more times in Twin Snakes, and he has this whole vaudeville-esque scene with him rolling down a hill while they're walking together. I don't like that. I don't like shitting on Hal that much. I get it, he's kind of a comic relief character, but don't shit on him so much. With the gold coin with the ultimate passing of Metal Gear, which franchise are you looking for to fill the void? My money's on Death Stranding. I don't think that'll be a series, but if it is, cool. I really do like, I just like Kojima. I like everything he's ever done for the most part. So... Can anything fill the gap for me? The other things that would potentially fill the gap for me are going to be Cyberpunk. I think Cyberpunk might be there. And then there's, of course, Deus Ex. Deus Ex is going strong. And I really liked Mankind Divided. And I loved... shit, what was the subtitle of the first game? I loved both those games, even though they were very disparate from the original. And that which shall not be named. I'm not talking about Deus Ex 2. So, yeah. Twin Snakes is a retelling of MGS. It's a legend about MGS reality. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, that that's a common fan theory sort of thing. Like an Android 18 cosplay with this hair. Yeah, maybe. I haven't thought about doing an Android 18, although, yeah. Maybe. Oh yeah, I did switch. Oh, here's a new thing. So, I don't know, I usually drink Sobieski, but I came across this the other day, because we're winding the stream, so I ran out of my tea. Unfortunately. We're winding it down right now, so... I have never heard of this or had it before. It's called Baltic Mist Polish vodka. I'm always like Polish vodkas, so I tend to go forward with them. Never had it. It kind of tastes like garbage, to be honest, but okay. I'm gonna do for like a minute more and then I'm gonna go. The King of Freeze for 3 says King of Freeze 3 for 5 says Aiden baby, when's there going to be a Persona panel? I can't do a Persona panel without talking about Shin Megami Tensei, and talking about Shin Megami Tensei is like gonna be a nightmare to script and write that panel out. How much did Huey do wrong? Huey did everything wrong. Huey is the biggest cuck on the planet. Oboro Sensei going strong, Square Enix did not get the sales they wanted, so it stopped. Did they really say they're canceling it for after Mankind Divided? Oh no. No way. What I meant by the series going strong is I meant that the games are good. Oh fuck. I hope they don't stop doing it. What do I think about Twin Snakes removing the Bleeding Heart liberal line from Baker? I don't know. I mean, it's the same thing where sometimes things are more or less politically okay. So it's the same thing with the ending of MGS2 being changed because we don't know what the original ending was like at all. But apparently it was changed because of the approximation to 9/11. At least that's what I had heard. I could be wrong on that. What emulators would I recommend to play the MGS games? I don't know. I could use a recommendation for the PSP ones because like I said, I can't get portable ops to run not like a fucking potato. What can girls do to make their partners happy? How do you deal with relationships? Holy shit, I'm not approaching that. Not while I'm trying to wind down. Merc stick with Lukosuya. Yeah, you're right. This shit's kind of garbage. It's not the worst I've had, but well, Sobieski is of course my bae, but I don't have any more Sobieski, so oh well, these. Bill, with Deus Ex, they said they have no plans at the moment regarding the next game in that series. Oh, that's really depressing. Mankind Divided was actually very fun. Now, there were a lot of missteps all leading up to it in terms of the marketing and the production, and that's why it probably didn't sell so well, because if you guys know, they did this really dumb, like, you have to pre-order and do all kinds of stupid shit in order to get the content that nobody wanted to do, so no thank you. Quiet comics aren't porn, they're funny. Oh, I've got lots of funny comics. Probably a lot. I do the comics up on stream because they stretch out too much and then they make the other images look weird. How was the Metal Gear comics, Aiden? I've read a couple of them. I've read more of the Witcher comics. I didn't even talk about them in my Witcher stream. And I've read tons of Witcher comics. I've read the whole run of the American run that was going on recently, and most of the Polish comics as well. And I do a stream on Borderlands, Thomas S. I'm not the biggest Borderlands fan, despite the fact that I use music from it in my intro. Yeah, augment your pre-order. That fucked it up. I have the collector's edition of Mankind Divided. Human Revolution was better in my opinion, but Mankind Divided was still a really good game. Yeah, it had. I think that I like Human Revolution better in part because we hadn't had a proper Deus Ex game in so long that it's a lot like Metal Gear, where you get one, then you go like, you know, you're a little bit taken aback. They tried to do some phone app with a game that sucked and had the whole All Lives Matter snafu. Yeah, they tried to introduce some political stuff, but when you actually played the game, the political stuff was fine. It wasn't the weird... I was really expecting heavy social justice pushing, and it wasn't that way. It ended up actually being like realistic reasons why Augs were being oppressed, right? Because essentially they destroy the economy and shit. Yeah. What's the most obscure game you know of that you think deserves more attention? Journeyman Project. That question. It is an old school series of games that are point and click adventures. I love them. Oh, and actually I was gonna do it. I might, so this is probably, I'm trying to get Super Chats on my secondary channel. Now, they have a month, or what do they have, 40 days? They're at like day 38 to get back to me on that, because I was gonna stream this here today, or stream this on that channel, because it's not in line with my regular content. I get that people don't always like that. So I think that it's still informative, it's still in line with my channel's general idea of being informative, but some people don't like the move away from politics and social science and to video game stuff. So I do understand. It's different. They should probably be on different channels. So I don't yet have my super chats on that channel, and that's fine, but I'd rather wait, since why not? I was gonna play the other day another point-and-click adventure game that is really good. It has beautiful art, hand-animated, hand-drawn art, called Torrens Passage. It's a game for children, but it's a point-and-click adventure game I've never seen anybody play. I've almost never seen anyone play Journeyman Project games either, so I don't know. I would maybe play Journeyman Project 3 on stream. It's so good. How about a panel on Chris Chan? Too many people talk about Chris Chan. He's got his own Wikipedia. What's the best original Resident Evil? Best of the original Resident Evil trilogy. Always like RE3. Jill's sandwich makes me laugh every time. I am very partial to the first Resident Evil, although I tried to play it last year on my PS3, the emulated version or whatever on the my PS3. It's so hard. If you haven't played tank controls in a while, man, you gotta get reused to them. It fucking blows. And I just got pissed and gave up because I was like, I hate having to relearn tank controls. Apollo 536 for 10 says, just wanted to thank you for your Witcher stream. Thank you. My pleasure. I had kept making excuses to pick up the books, and that stream convinced me to go ahead and do it. Nearing the end of Blood of Elves and love it. I'm so happy. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm gonna close off. Yeah, I kept saying it, but at the half-hour point, yeah, I'm definitely ending. Would I vote for Senator Armstrong? Absolutely. He is the best. That fight, actually, even on regular difficulty, I really struggled to beat that fight the first time I played Revengeance. Holy shit, that's a hard fight. Marley says, yeah, still think the AUG oppression is BS. The line is so blurry, if anything, they would be pissed at companies, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah, I didn't think it basically, it was a positive expectancy violation, right? So I expected it to be shit, and then it was not shit. It was less shit than I was expecting, so I felt better about the game. In other words, oh, the original Tenchu, yeah, holy shit. No, I've picked that up a little bit and gave up on it. I do like, I like top-down touchers, the top-down sort of games, and I like tank controls on some level, but you have to like relearn them if you, it's not like riding a bike. It's not like riding a bike. Yeah, we're done at the turn of the 30-minute mark, so 4 minutes if anyone's got anything left. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'm gonna probably move it to the other channel, but just to be more consistent. I'm thinking I'm going to do this probably bi-monthly of these video game streams, and that also gives me a really interesting opportunity to start making more panels, because I haven't done it in a long time, in about a year and a half. So I can go through the ones I've done, and then if people have, you know, like other recommendations or things, basically, here's what I'll do. I'll put up a poll on Twitter, and I'll put in some of the games or series that I have to talk about. Like, I have a JoJo's one, but I don't feel really confident talking all about JoJo's myself, because although I like JoJo's, I do that panel usually with 4 other people, and I know my parts of JoJo's that I really, really love, but I'm not a fan of every part of JoJo's to the same degree, so I usually default to them when it's a part that I'm not a bigger fan of, and I'm not caught up on the current stuff. Hey, Who Flung Poo for 2 says, here's a deuce to get your hair purple again. Maybe. I actually just kind of liked the way the fucking shit, the way it turned out. But I'll put up a poll on Twitter, how about that? What's my favorite hack and slash game? Bubble Meta asks. It's gotta be DMC3, I think. I mean, I know that's kind of like the obvious answer, but DMC3 has to be it. Devil May Cry. I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. Oh, I could pull up my lady costume. Haha. Unfortunately, my Kalina Ann, the giant gun, started to fall apart because it was in storage for so long. Wait, you can't store around a 6 fucking foot long fake gun and not expect it to fall apart. Gravedigger for 5. Have you played the Suikoden series? Yes. I would start with Suikoden 2 if you have not. I like Suikoden 2 and Suikoden 3 are the 2 I have played. Oh, and 4! I've never finished all of them, but I've played all of them a little bit. Talk about JoJo anyway, we'll judge you, but who cares? Yeah, but I think if I do a JoJo's panel, what I will do is that I do know people online who can help me with the JoJo's panel. Because I just want to talk about Stone Ocean. Like the most hate, I feel I'm always like the person who loves Stone Ocean, like the only person on the panel who loves Stone Ocean, because it's so weird and stupid. And yeah, the second channel is Latana Volt. I'm about to hang this up, guys. Devil May Cry 2 also did nothing wrong. Another game that is hated without due cause. Bad ending, gameplay's perfect, pretty much. It's a complete improvement gameplay-wise on the first. Which, if I write a Devil May Cry panel, I will say. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this, and again, if you enjoy this at all, I will be potentially moving these videos to the other channel, although I'm not sure yet. If not, it will be probably on the other channel as soon as I get Super Chats up and running. I'll play video games maybe over there to try and get YouTube to be less stupid. Who's my JoJo's husbando? Joseph, obviously. It's always Joseph. So yeah, thanks guys for joining me, and I hope that you had fun and learned a little bit about Metal Gear, or if you're a big fan of Metal Gear, just had fun shit talking about it, because that's kind of the point of these dumb streams. Alright, thank you, and Latana Volt, guys. Bye-bye.